Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good to see you all.
Good evening. Madam Clerk, whenever you're ready, please call the roll.
Senator Zanetti?
Present.
Senator Belay?
Present.
Senator Hernandez? Senator Kiewit?
Present.
Senator Lang? Senator Baker? Present. Senator Marty?
Present.
Senator Purnell?
Present.
Senator Reber? Senator Reyes?
Present.
Senator Richardson? Senator Strocknagel?
Present.
Senator Thompson? Present. Senator Vanderhyde? Present. Senator Wheaton? Speaker Rodriguez?
Alrighty. With that, we're going to the Senate oath of office. So Ryan Coleman and Jack Warner, you want to join me up right here? You have been chosen by the students at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater as a senator on the student government. Understanding that you've been chosen to perform such an active and important role, do you accept the position of senator and all the responsibilities, duties, and privileges that it will include? If so, say I will to the best of my ability.
I will to the best of my ability.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brian Coleman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to fulfill the obligations and responsibilities of my office,
to fulfill the obligations and responsibilities of my office,
to be knowledgeable of
to be knowledgeable of
and uphold the WSG Constitution,
and uphold the WSG Constitution,
the WSG standing rules,
the WSG standing rules,
and university policies,
and university policies,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. It is my pleasure to introduce the newest senators of the Whitewater Student Government. First time doing that, so it's fun. I'll give them a moment to after things. Ryan, or Senator Coleman, you're to the placard. You grab it. Alrighty. With that, we are on to the election of the Deputy Speaker of the Senate. At this point, I'll nominate open nominations. It'll just be I nominate blank, and then person can accept it or decline. You need a majority to be elected. Senator Marty,
I nominate myself for Deputy Speaker.
do you accept?
Yes.
Okay. Senator Reber,
I nominate Elizabeth Vanderhyde.
you nominate Elizabeth Vanderhyde. Do you accept?
Yes.
Any other nominations? Senator Brown,
I nominate Gabriel Giannetti.
Giannetti, do you accept?
I do.
All right. Any other nominations? Seeing none. If we could get President Bradley,
Nominate Luke Strocknagel.
would someone like to entertain a motion on that nomination? Senator Thompson?
I'll entertain the motion.
Okay. Senator Strocknagel, do you accept?
Sure.
Cool. With that, we have 4 nominations. Are there any other nominations? Not seeing any. If you,
I nominate Nathan Pule.
someone like to entertain that motion? Senator Majors.
I will entertain the motion.
Senator Gila. Accept it or not?
I do not accept.
Alrighty. Any other nominations? And I will not take any more from the board. Cool. If you were nominated and accepted, just want to step up onto the podium. Madam Vice President, if you could say the names on the screen. 4. Cool.
Can you all double check to make sure I spelled these correctly? Is that correct? Same.
GIA. And then two ends. GTTI.
I want to know yours. Well, so Max was nominated first, right? Then Elizabeth, then Giannetti, Shafi.
Alrighty, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes, to tell us all about why you're interested in being the next Deputy Speaker of the Senate.
I am passionate to be Deputy Speaker of the Senate because I am consistent by showing up to every single board meeting, no matter what happens. I passionately try to do the work that is required for the e-board. Furthermore, while I take 16 credits, I still show up to WSG no matter what because I make sure I schedule, I plan, and I hold myself to account when I do make mistakes. But because I make mistakes, I have empathy for everyone as a leader. So as Deputy Speaker, I promise to lead with empathy, kindness, compassion. Furthermore, I believe in WSG represents students. So I'll be trying to do forward-facing, to show up to community events, do outreach, and do every single thing I possibly can do. I yield my time to the chair.
Alrighty, Senator Vanderhyde.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Vanderhyde. As many of you know, I'm an actuarial science major as well as a business analytics major. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a member of SUFAC, where I've begun developing my understanding of funding processes and organizational decision-making. In addition, I'm a dual sport athlete here at UW-Whitewater. I participate on the women's golf and bowling team. Although I'm only a freshman, I've taken on a significant leadership role within the bowling team, leading my team to a few tournament wins, as well as being named the D3 Rookie of the Year. Competing on golf, I have developed discipline and the ability to listen and learn. I didn't come in with the most knowledge about golf, but I have listened to my teammates and my coaches, and I've grown and put myself in a strong position for the future. While my experience within WSG is still developing, the relationships I've built and the opportunities I've gained have already taught me a great deal. These experiences have strengthened my ability to lead under pressure, communicate effectively, and adapt by listening in order to make informed decisions. The two primary responsibilities of being a deputy speaker are running meetings when the speaker has to step out, and tracking attendance. I've been working with our current speaker to better my understanding the logistics of leading meetings, and I'm eager to step into this responsibility. Beyond these defined responsibilities, I have two main goals being deputy speaker: to continue and build bonds with fellow senators and emphasize efficiency within our group. This past semester, I've spent most of my time learning what it means to be an effective WSG senator, playing a more active role by writing legislation and getting other senators to write legislation alongside me will be one of my biggest priorities being deputy speaker. I want to prioritize efficiency across all aspects of the Senate, from meetings to the legislative drafting process. If I'm being completely honest here, our meetings take a little bit more time than I think is probably needed, and I think that we should just be more efficient. This time could be better used for senators drafting legislation and actually talking with constituents. By improving organization and communication, we can make better use of our time and accomplish more as a body. Finally, I plan to build on what I've learned this semester by maintaining consistent communication and building well-rounded relationships with all senators and continue to grow in this role. Creating bonds with all senators will have a positive impact on the board and will allow us to be more productive. I am excited about this opportunity to learn, contribute, and serve more actively within WSG. Thank you, and I yield.
Alright, Senator Giannetti.
One of the lead principal aspect of the deputy speaker is to assist the speaker of the Senate as well. Testing. Okay, there we go. This is farther away. I think one of the main reasons why I would like to do is I have a faith in the Speaker of the Senate's vision, and I would like to see that implemented. I think that we could be more efficient. We could be more active, and I would like to facilitate that in the ways that I can as the deputy speaker if I get elected, and really to just improve the overall situation of the Senate.
All right, Senator Sharpler.
Hello everyone, my name is Luke Schrofflagel. I'm a biomedicine student here at Whitewater. And as a transfer student, I didn't think I was going to fit in quite well here at Whitewater, coming from a very agricultural background to this business school. But ever since joining Whitewater Student Government, I've exposed myself to students across campus and made a lot of friends, and this has helped me become more efficient in the classroom. Recently I received the Outstanding Transfer Student Scholarship and the YK Fogg Scholarship in Biology Department. I'm super excited to be here before you to run for this position. Some goals I have as Deputy Speaker, I'm not sure at the moment. This is pretty out of the blue to run for this position, but I love getting to know people. I love to foster relationships with other people, and I love to bring people up. So if you elect me, I'm sure I would uphold all those values. Thank you very much.
All right. With that, we'll go into questions. Just a reminder that we ask to all candidates. I will accept questions from each board and from the gallery if they wish. But we get 5 at first. We can extend if we need to. Senator Gilliard? Any questions? Senator Reyes?
Yeah, what separates you among the other candidates? Why do you believe you deserve this position more than everyone else?
I want to start Schrofflagel and we'll work with that.
I believe the Deputy Speaker needs to be a leader as they're part of Senate leadership, and I've had several different leadership roles over the years. And normally I use my FFA experience being the Vice President as an example, but this time I'm the head LPN of my psych dementia unit, and that takes a lot of leadership. There's 5 CNAs under my role, and I have to ensure that our residents are at safety. We have 24 residents, all of different various dementia stages. And that's a pretty difficult role to make sure that residents are in proper health and safety, along with the workers and their families being involved in that discussion. So I think being a deputy speaker, you need to have that sort of leadership experience. And I think the best leader is one who sits back and listens rather than one that speaks out first. And I think I definitely am working on that skill, but I'm getting better each day. I love to public speak as well. It's one of my favorite things to do is to get in front of people like everyone here and give a little discussion. And I think those are skills exemplified within a deputy speaker. So those are some reasons why I think I stand out. Thank you.
Sorry, could you just repeat the question?
What separates you among the other candidates?
I wouldn't say that I'm better than any of the candidates in question. I think they all have unique and valuable skills that can be brought to the deputy speaker. I think for me, I think that I believe that I have is I'm very collaborative. I like to be able to talk to people, sort of see what they're thinking and try to synergize that into a workable action plan. And I mean, part of the reason why I kind of came up here is I want to be able to both further and maybe help to sort of improve the sort of plan that we already have that's been put forth by the speaker. So I would say that would be it.
I think what maybe sets me apart from other candidates up here, I have a unique leadership skill set. I mean, I compete on 2 different sports. I played a major leadership role on the bowling team, even as a freshman. And you know, I am willing to adapt to any situation. I mean, playing sports, being a member of SUTEC, you have to be truly adaptable to anything that comes at you. I think that's what sets me apart. And then also I've been working with our current speaker to kind of learn the deputy speaker role as well, and I think I've learned a great deal from him. So I think that's what sets me apart from other candidates.
So what sets me apart from other candidates is I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning to run at least 3 miles a day. I do this for my own discipline and for the discipline of what Whitewater expects out of every student. I try to live by being Warhawk bold, by being bold to study, and being board to support everyone. That entails empathy, kindness, listening to what you need, and put students' needs before our own with what this role entails. Meaning that I'll trust Nick. I will trust you all to how we can work together to achieve a Whitewater together.
Alrighty, Senator Wheeler?
Yeah, what is your biggest weakness in leadership and how do you hope to overcome it in this role?
My biggest weakness, being in a leadership role, often I'm very, like, I don't know how to put this, like, I don't want to say I'm not, like, I can't compromise, but I often see my vision and see where I want to go with that vision, and I have difficulty taking in others' opinions. I've worked on this, playing team sports and being a part of larger, like, member groups like this. You have to take in multiple perspectives. And so I have learned to take in different perspectives and learned to compromise well with others. So I think that was my biggest weakness, but I've worked really hard on that to overcome that.
So one of my biggest weaknesses is patience. I'm passionate about hard work and getting things done on time, but sometimes I have to be patient and trust the process of a bill. Trust the process to work with all of us. And that's a skill that I'm always trying to work on and always trying to develop with everyone. I also look up to everyone here to help all of us out by building each other up.
I'd say my biggest weakness is probably maybe taking things a little bit too fast. Sometimes I enter flow state, and that really turns into go state, where I find myself going super fast on different tasks at hand that I don't stop and reflect at what's going on. And I think action without reflection is pointless. If you're not reflecting at the end of the day or looking at what you're doing, whatever that project is, if it's in student government or if it's simply your workout plan at the gym. How I've overcome this issue is I've started doing more hobbies like reading, walking, hiking. I pray every night. I sit down, I call my family. I think it's really important to reflect on what's going on in your life. And I think that's my biggest weakness is maybe going too fast at different things.
I think my biggest weakness is probably that I'm sometimes too passive. I like to wait, generally, to have everybody else sort of get in what they're going to say. So I don't give out I don't have a redundant statement or give a redundant question, especially in bodies like WSG. How I sort of work, I think I'm always continuously trying to improve that. I just sort of being more active, talking more, trying to sort of just get my voice more out there. And I think that, I hope that that's kind of exemplified in terms of my sort of involvement within the org. When I started, I was very quiet, I didn't really talk a lot, and then by the end of the semester, I was involved particularly in SUPAC, which I'm now a part of. So.
Alright, Senator Thompson?
So, you guys said a couple of you mentioned wanting to run the meeting more effectively. How do all of you plan to do that and keep us from steering off course?
I think that a key thing would just be sort of reminders. Sometimes we can get off track, and there's sort of like this desire to, kind of let the conversation run its course. And sometimes that conversation can go on for minutes, tens of minutes. And I think taking a more assertive role and being able to say, hey guys, let's try to keep things concise and just sort of as a reminder would be productive.
I think a great way to run the meeting more effectively, mainly it's probably the speaker's job to do that. But I think all these computers and screens in front of us, a lot of you aren't even looking at me right now. I think if every single one of those was taken out of the room or shut, I think our meetings would go by really, really fast. Although we do use them for a lot of different cool stuff like what's on the screen right now, I think if I had my own laptop closed, I'd be way more locked in on what's going on, and we'd have better discussion, and we'd know a lot more and less questions. So.
Max, please.
I think, speaking off what Luke said, I do agree we have to be more attentive and be more listening within WSG. Furthermore, I will have goals of topics to talk about for the meeting, meaning that for a bill to be passed, we make sure I pass the bill with the topics that we're going to discuss with the bill for a summary, and then we actually read the bill together for that discussion. Furthermore, I will have a goal for amount of time for elections and things like that, and also consider time for debate. But I have to hear from all of you guys to know how much time you want to spend on a certain thing. And sometimes, and I have to also be honest of what our lives are within WSG and within the broader community of Whitewater. I think we might try to get a trip up to the Esther Dining Hall one time for senator outreach, or do other meetings than just trying to, and expand WSG as well.
Wait till you see next week. Rock County.
I think the biggest thing that hurts our efficiency here within the Senate is just doing discussion. I think we repeat a lot of like what has already been said. Some things gets said at least 3 or 4 times, and so I think if more like senators were engaged, actively listening to what is being said, that probably wouldn't happen, and we can run these meetings a lot more efficiently if we just were actively listening for those few minutes.
All right. On to the 4th question here, and I'm seeing Senator Reber and then Senator Rangers. I'm going in order, I'm sorry.
So, a big part of being deputy speaker, or at least a part that I haven't heard mentioned before, is being the chair of the internal evaluation committee. And I was wondering if any of you had any experience with that kind of a thing, or.
Well, I am in Model UN, and I have learned a lot from Blake Irwin, who was the former parliamentarian, and he explained what it takes to be in WSG. Jordan has, every time Jordan gives Robert's Rules of Order and explains how Robert's Rules of Order works, I pay very close attention to that. I am new to Internal Evaluations Committee, but I will take it with objective neutrality and extreme diligence by crossing my I's and dotting my T's, and also work with all of you guys so that I can do the best job that this committee requires.
I am a member of the Internal Evaluations Committee, so I've seen the processes and know how everything works within that committee. And I work alongside the current speaker within that role, so I am sure I could learn the role quite fast because I've been a part of the committee.
I am currently not a member of the Internal Evaluations Committee, but I think like a lot of everything else with the role of deputy speaker, I would endeavor to learn. I would collaborate, I would talk to others, I would try to absorb as much information as I could in terms of both that specifically learning how to be as objective as possible when in that role and simultaneously the broader functions of the deputy speaker.
I have a decent knowledge of what IEC is and what they do, but not being part of their committee, I'm willing to learn as it will be the job of the deputy speaker. So,
All right. With our 5th question, we'll go to Senator Majors, and then to Chairman Smith, the last one.
Attendance has been a chronic issue within our organization.
how do you plan to make sure that you are able to attend every meeting and making sure that our senators are also attending their meetings?
Well, you can bet your bottom dollar if I was elected, I would be here for every single meeting for deputy speaker. But I think for other senators, I think maybe establishing a reward system. I mean, it is their job to show up to the meetings, but a lot of people have different requirements that pull them away, and that's okay. They get the excused absence. But I think if we establish some sort of reward system, whether that's a reward at our gala or a monetary value, I don't know what our finances look like, Doug, but President Bradley. But I think maybe establishing some sort of incentive if you show up to every single meeting, like perfect attendance at school. We used to always get an award at the end of the school year. So maybe establishing something that would encourage senators to show up.
I mean, as of now, I believe I have near perfect attendance at WSG, at least when I have served as a senator. In terms of getting other senators, I tend to agree with Senator Schwab-Nagel that we already have fairly significant penalties for not attending a required meeting outside of excused absences. So you would have to implement some form of reward system to sort of incentivize senators to, attempt to carve out more time out of their day to come over to WSG. What that would look like, I believe, would have to be more so an initiative from the bottom up to sort of see what the majority of senators would want in that respect.
I think my attendance as far as Senate meetings is pretty good. I think getting more senators to come more consistently to Senate meetings goes back to the talk we had about efficiency. I think maybe some senators don't want to come because the meetings take too long. They have other stuff to do, and that's understandable. I think if we're more efficient within these meetings, more senators would like to come, like to discuss, and then leave. I think that is where a majority of senators not showing up stems from.
All of my fellow people have extremely good points, and I also think that having a form for absence within a week in advance would be good to explain why a senator cannot show up. Meaning, I have a Google Doc form or something on a link to make sure that if something comes up because of grades or college, they can communicate it to me. Half of the idea of senators not showing up is we are elected here by our constituents trying to fight for what they believe in and what they deserve. So fundamentally what it means is making sure that I have a form and I document why senators can't show up, and then I go say, here's what the topic of the meeting that you would miss for that. And furthermore, yes, have a census, but I think have a form and have paperwork to explain how to get senators to get there.
Chairman Smith, the last question.
If you were a tool in a toolbox, what tool would you be and why?
I think I said this when I was elected senator. Those screwdrivers that are, reversible, Phillips head and the flathead. I think I would do that. I am, like I said before, adaptable to any situation. Whatever's thrown at me, I can normally work through it, and that's what that screwdriver does. Whatever's thrown at it, it can work through that, and I think that is shown through what I do.
Now, this is a big tool, but it would be Disney World. Now, you might say, why Disney World? Well, Disney imagined Disney World to be a tool in his toolbox. It is incorporating the childlike sense of wonder every day when you work. No matter how hard it gets, you always have to have the magic in your heart and have Mickey Mouse on your side. And also just believe in the magic of hard work and dedication and passion.
If I was a tool in the toolbox, I would be duct tape. One of my greatest skills I think I have is speaking to other people, having conversations, personal conversations, bringing people together, gluing a team together to get something done. And I love duct tape. I use it for everything.
sort of in a similar light, a different tool, I would say that I would be a vice script. Vice scripts take things, they hold it together. They're very, you can, not only are they effective at, say, taking two things and you're kind of bringing them together, they're useful for opening things which are very difficult. And I'd say that I am very much like that. I bring ideas sort of solidly together. I can help with that. I try to find solutions in more difficult to sort of interact with areas, and that's what I say would be.
Alrighty. If you just want to start with Luke, go to Max, say your name so the Senate knows who you are.
Schroffnagel.
Janetti.
Vanderheim.
Marty.
Alright, if you want to give the mic back to President Duck here, you're going to go sit down. Just some kind of ground rules. In order to be elected, the majority needs to be reached, which is 8 people of the 14 we have present. So you can vote. In the past, we have done open roll call votes for officer elections, so I'm trying to continue that. You can say any one of the names up there or nay. You don't want any of the candidates, or you could abstain. The deputy speaker is not paid, so there's no financial incentive to voting for yourself, so you can vote for yourself. You could vote for someone who wasn't nominated. We'll track it, see this. Madam Clerk, if you're able to call the roll.
Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Point of information.
Of course.
Is it a voice vote or a ballot vote?
We've done a roll call vote for every officer election this semester. We could, if someone wishes to make a motion for secret ballot, this is the one time we are allowed to do that. This has to have meeting laws, but if someone wants to make that motion, now's the time. Not seeing one, so we'll do a roll call vote. Cool. Any other questions? I'm so sorry. Cool. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll whenever you're ready?
Senator Coleman.
Vanderhyde.
Senator Janetti.
Janetti.
Senator Healy.
Vanderhyde.
Senator Kiwu.
Schroffnagel.
Senator Majors.
Pass.
Senator Marty.
Marty.
Senator Purnell.
Pass.
Senator Reber.
Vanderhyde.
Senator Reyes.
Schroffnagel.
Senator Schroffnagel.
Schroffnagel.
Senator Thompson.
Vanderhyde.
Senator Vanderhyde.
Vanderhyde.
Senator Werner.
Janetti.
Senator Majors.
Vanderhyde.
Senator Purnell.
Vanderhyde.
Speaker Patrigues.
Vanderhyde. All right. In a vote of 8 for Vanderhyde, 3 for Schroffnagel, 2 for Giannetti, and 1 for Marty, I want to congratulate Senator Vanderhyde on being elected the next Deputy Speaker of the Senate. I was preparing for a couple rounds, but alrighty. I'm going to join me up front here so we can give you the oath of office. Senator Vanderhyde, you've been elected by the Senate of the Whitewater Student Government to serve as the Deputy Speaker of the Senate. Understanding that you've been chosen to perform such an active and important role, you accept the position of Deputy Speaker and all the responsibilities, duties, and privileges that it will include. If so, say I will to the best of my ability.
I will to the best of my ability.
Alrighty. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Elizabeth Vanderhyde,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to fulfill the obligations and responsibilities of my office,
to fulfill the obligations and responsibilities of my office,
to be knowledgeable of
to be knowledgeable of
and uphold the WSG Constitution,
and uphold the WSG Constitution,
the WSG standing rules,
the WSG standard rules,
and university policies,
and university policies,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. It's my pleasure to introduce the next Deputy Speaker. I finished this over the weekend, so finally, it's been a year and a half in the making. Alrighty. I had 2 different people reach out to me that live in the Esker district, interested in running for a Senate seat today. That would not be eligible because we don't have open seats. So I put on the agenda optional motion to transfer 2 off-campus seats to at-large. They're both 6, so. But the thing we can do in the Constitution is transfer seats from any district to at-large. And typically we do that if there's interest in seats, but not open seats for that transfer to occur. So right now we have 5 vacant off-campus district seats, right? If we transfer 2 to the at-large district, there would be 3 open seats in the at-large district that people who live in the Esker district, right, that anyone can run for. That's why I said on the agenda. Are there any questions with that? About what that is? Okay. But right now we are on to an optional motion to convert 2 off-campus seats to at-large pursuant to Article 1, Section 2E of the Constitution. If someone wishes to make that motion, I'm seeing Senator Schottenhauer.
I move to convert 2 off-campus seats to at-large seats.
Alrighty, looking for a second. Seconded by Senator Deelig. It's not his first, I'm so sorry. Where's the discussion on that motion? Senator Schottenhauer?
Seeing how we want more participation in student senate and how we have 5 open off-campus seats, I think it would be very wise to vote yes, in this motion.
Alright. Any other discussion? Senator Marty?
I just wonder, from the 2 senators, I hope that they would be extremely active within student government and honestly make the effort to try new things and to be a part of running, even if it, like, I don't know, just be present and be willing to participate. Since they contacted you, it's pretty obvious that they're very eager to be a part of this, and I say sure.
Senator Thompson?
I also encourage to convert these seats. After all, if we just have seats sitting empty, we might as well get more people in here, get more opinions.
Any final discussion? Senator Pro.
It's not to say that people who are off campus can't run in those seats either. There are seats that anybody can fill. So, yeah, I think it's a fair spot to fill.
Last year we did this, we did 4, we converted. We don't have quite as many vacancies in the off-campus district as we did last year, so only 2 that I put on the agenda, but last discussion, last call. Senator Marty said something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just think that, furthermore, it's like, and from being on student government, I see that, I hope that when we continue to hear that, since they're very eager, I hope to also hear their ideas of making sure that we connect to students better.
You'll hear them if they run. Do you have anything about the conversion itself?
No?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just didn't say.
I believe it's a 2/3 majority vote. 2/3 majority vote. Madam Clerk, if you would please call the roll whenever you're ready for us.
Senator Janetti?
You can vote aye, you can vote nay, you can abstain, you can pass.
Aye.
Senator Deelig?
Aye.
Senator Kiwu?
Aye.
Senator Majors?
Aye.
Senator Marty?
Aye.
Senator Purnell?
Aye.
Senator Reber?
Aye.
Senator Reyes?
Aye.
Senator Schrocknagel?
Aye.
Senator Thompson,
Aye.
Senator Vanderhyde,
Aye.
Senator Warner,
Aye.
Senator Coleman,
Aye.
Speaker Patrigues.
Vote 14-0. Motion passes. And then with that, we're on to the appointment of one Drummond District seat. Is there anyone in the gallery interested in a one Drummond District seat? I'm not seeing any. With that, we'll move into 3 off-campus district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery interested in an off-campus district seat? Seeing none. With that, we'll go to the appointment of 2 Rock County district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery interested in a Rock County district seat? Seeing none. With that, we'll go to the appointment of 3 at-large seats. Is there anyone in the gallery interested? Could you please rise? All right, and we've got 2. If you're going to come up here to pass the vice president, tell her your name. Spell it out here for you.
Arnett.
Arnett and Punzel? Is that correct? Okay. If you just want to tell us a little bit what your name, major, year at school, things that, why you're interested in student
Mr.
government.
Speaker, permission to grab the microphone from the
Sure.
counter.
I'm Alex Arnett, and I'm a sophomore. I am a poli-sci major, and I'm interested in joining WSG to help better represent students here on this campus. You know, I hear a lot about like dining and, you know, parking, and I think we need to like better support students in those areas. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hayden Punzel. I am also a sophomore. I'm a criminology major with a psychology minor. I am from Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, so 15 minutes down the road. Why I want to be part of WSG? I believe that shared governance isn't just legislation, bills, resolutions. It's about providing mentorship, advice, helping those out in need that may not have a voice. I aspire to bring all of that if appointed tonight, and I aspire to help everybody no matter the cost.
All right. I'm looking for 3 questions. Senator Schroff.
What is something you hope to learn or strengthen by joining WSG?
One thing I hope to strengthen in WSG is, honestly, getting more out there. I am currently the vice president of the Student Venture Alliance, and I'll admit that's something I struggle with is getting out there, not only with my own organization, but as a person. I'm hoping that with WSG I can metaphorically break through my own social shell that I've developed from my past.
I think for me, it's getting up and publicly speaking in front of people. I'm not the best at like speaking in front of large groups, so I think with WSG that might help me get in front of more people.
Senator Thompson and then Senator Keeler.
What's one thing you want to improve on campus? You can't say dining, you can't say parking, can't say housing.
So, a little bit of background about me. I'm a United States Army veteran. I served 8 years on active duty and I'm now currently in National Guard. One of the biggest things I want to see on campus is the change to the Veterans Lounge. Give them a bigger space. They were put there in 2007 and what did they have? A hallway shoved away in the back part of the library. Is that really how you should treat those that fought and served our nation? No. And thankfully, through previous committee work, we have a plan in place, but that is something that, no matter time, cost, or labor, that is a goal I hope to achieve through either SVA or WSG before I graduate.
I guess I would say maybe the library, just making it, updating it for, I guess, the newer age, you know, making it more technologically accessible.
What qualities do you possess that you think will help students in Whitewater?
So, a few qualities I think I possess that will help is, one, So I'm turning 27 years old in June. I've experienced a lot so far in life. It may not seem all that much in retrospective, but I also bring a unique perspective as a veteran. Having seen and been across the seas, I bring an experience of different cultures. I also provide advice, like I have to some of the members in this board. I'm also very, very persistent. I don't usually back down on a problem, and I'm usually willing to tackle it head on, no matter the cost. I'm willing to fight for those that may not have any fight left in them. And most importantly, I see the best in people, even if it seems like there is no good in them. I always give the benefit of the doubt, no matter who the person.
I would probably say just being very efficient about getting things done. Like, I'm the secretary of the Model UN, and I've been very efficient about getting out emails and making sure students are in. And I think efficiency might be helpful for students on campus.
I say some mine. Senator Majors, final question.
Do you think accountability is important in leadership? How have you shown that?
I believe accountability is absolutely important. It's important to acknowledge your own mistakes and do right by one, the person you have wronged, but also it's important to make amends, fix what you have broken, and also carve a path for a better tomorrow. Sometimes taking accountability is the hardest thing to do, but it's something I'm willing to do.
I think, like he said, accountability is really hard to take for yourself or like to take on, but it's kind of important when it comes to leadership. As like when you make a mistake, you gotta, I guess, come forward when you do.
Alrighty. With that, we're gonna go into a roll call vote. You can say,
Deputy Speaker, do you want us to say our names before we sit back down? Or I mean, Mr. Speaker, my bad. Sorry.
yeah, if you could say your last name again, and then head over to the gallery.
Punzel?
Arnett?
So you could say Arnett, you could say Punzel, you could say both, you could say neither. Or pass or abstain. Aye or nay. So a vote of aye is for both. A vote of nay is for neither. Or you could say just one nay. Or pass or abstain. It's fun when we do a couple, but any questions, anything? Alright, Madam Clerk, please call the roll whenever you're ready.
Senator Gile,
Pass.
Senator Kiwu,
Punzel.
Senator Majors,
Arnett.
Senator Marty,
Aye.
Senator Purnell,
Aye.
Senator Reber,
Aye.
Senator Reyes,
Aye.
Senator Schrocknagel,
Aye.
Senator Thompson,
Pass.
Senator Vanderhyde,
Arnett.
Senator Werner,
Aye.
Senator Coleman,
Punzel.
Senator Janetti,
Aye.
Senator Gile,
Aye.
Was it an aye, correct?
Yeah.
Senator Thompson,
Aye.
Speaker Rodriguez.
Aye. With both receiving a vote of 12 to 2, that's how we'll say it. I want to congratulate both Mr. Arnett and Mr. Punzel for being elected the next senator of the Whitewater State Government. If you could both stay after, see me after the meeting, I have some information on how to, what the next steps are. But with that, we are into guest speakers with the President-elect, Isaiah Christian-Wilson.
Mr. Isaiah's fine. Good to be with you all tonight. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Good. We have a a microphone? Are we doing a microphone thing today?
Yeah.
I can.
Get your microphone.
Thanks. Good to be here with you all. Okay, so I will keep this brief, but over the next couple of weeks, I do intend on coming by, not only updating y'all a bit on some of the transition stuff I've been busy working away at. A big part of the reason y'all heard my farewell speech last week is because I think the place my mind is at right now is very future focused and very transition heavy, and I think the best way to do that is with as many minds as possible, and that's why I'm here tonight. And I wanted to start that by acknowledging a few things. So I think the most important, thank you, sir. I think the most important thing any president can do is arm the organization with the best team possible to complete the work of the organization. The first step for me in doing that is announcing the search for a chief of staff, which is a position that does not yet exist, but this role will serve multifacets. The primary responsibility will be to manage the day-to-day operations and implement the administration's agenda. They will serve as the president's and a policy advisor to the president and vice president, manage the president's calendar, coordinate with the e-board, supervise progress on various initiatives, and provide consistent updates to the president and vice president. Over the next few weeks, I'll be doing a few of these guest speaker spots, as I said, at the start of these Senate meetings to continue to update y'all on upcoming logistics as it relates to the position and any and all position changes or updates for next year, which will of course eventually result in legislation and hopefully approval. As it relates to how to apply to the position, if it seems like you have interest, number one, you can come chat with me or ask any questions at the end of this little spiel about what it might be about. But President Bradley and I will be touching base after this to launch a Connect application. So it'll be available via Connect. You can come chat with me. We'll get you a link to it. Otherwise, it'll be on our campaign Instagram as well. You can ask for that, and we'll make sure it's reflected in the minutes so that you can click that link and apply. It'll be open all through the week until Friday at 5 p.m. It will be less publicized than some of the other searches that we conduct over the spring semester. Because this position in particular requires some key skills that I think one of them is particular shared governance knowledge, but also just knowledge of general WSG workings. So we won't need to publicize it quite so far out into the student body as we will for some of the other positions. You will see me soon again as we continue to build the strongest team possible. And soon enough, as I said, ask for your approval on any and all positions for which we hire. And as soon as July 1st comes around, we will get training and we'll get right to work. And I can't wait. As always, thank you very much. All the best. Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Do you have questions?
Yeah.
Is there any questions for the president-elect, starting with Senator Markey?
For this position, for chief of staff, would you be interested in, basically, is it anybody with the qualifications should apply for this application, or is it going to be like, is it only going to be, so are you more interested in looking for students who are outside of the Senate or within senators?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can apply who has interest. But the reason we're keeping this particular search a little tighter is because, like I said, I think the practical knowledge necessary in terms of how WSG works to what a chief of staff is, what a chief of staff will be for myself and for Paige, I think is really important. They need some really kind of precise knowledge of how the organization works. So we're not going to go ask student orgs to apply or anything. But I wanted to start here, and then we will of course post it on our Instagram, and anybody is welcome to apply. Read the position description. If it seems like something that speaks to you, we encourage you to apply, and we'll hire the best people.
Any other questions? Not seeing any. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. See you all soon.
Alright, with that, we're into the approval of the agenda and minutes. And I really thought I could go 1 week without error. But we'll start with the agenda for April 6th, 2026. And I will ask for unanimous consent to strike the approval of the minutes from March 30th, 2026. And to amend Sadie West to Sadie J. West. Any opposed? Seeing none. We are into the approval of the agenda for April 6th, 2026. Is there a motion? Senator Thompson.
Motion to approve.
Looking for a second. Senator Giannetti. We'll go to the voice vote.
Acclamation.
Acclamation's been called. Any opposed? Seeing none. With that, we're to student issues and concerns. Are there any student issues and concerns in the gallery? Seeing none. We'll go to reports, starting with our internal committee reports of the Academic Affairs Committee. For these, you just want to stand up in your spot. You don't have to do the whole thing or anything.
Yes. Let me just run those. So, in the Academic Affairs Committee last week on Tuesday, the 31st, we discussed the finalists for each of the faculty awards, and we determined the winners of each. These awards will be presented on April 28th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. UC 275A. All senators will receive a calendar invite. So, with that I yield.
All right. Any questions for Senator Gillard? This is your notice now. The instructor awards will be a mandatory event for all senators. So, an email with that for me soon in the calendar invite for the Academic Affairs Committee for director. With that, we're in the reports of the Communications Committee and the Elections Engagement Committee.
Good evening. The Communications and Elections Engagement Committees held a joint meeting today at 1:06 p.m. The committees met to write and record a post regarding tomorrow's election, which has been posted. This video is posted on the WSG pages, as well as I believe it's being posted on the UW-Whitewater page as well. I yield to any questions.
Are there any questions for Senator Majors? Seeing none. For the president.
Is it true that SAI, Instagram handle Dean Tanya Schmidt, Warhawks.vote, and UW-Whitewater were all invited as collaborators on the post?
Yes.
It seems like you know the answer. So.
You yield to the senator.
Seems like the answer is yes. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll go to the Student Affairs Committee report.
Good evening again. The Student Affairs Committee met on March 31st at 8:04 a.m. We continued discussion about It's On Us, which starts on April 27th. We heard updates from both chairs. We then assigned committee members to areas of focus. Members were to research their 2 assigned sections to better facilitate student concerns. We then finished the meeting discussing student concerns in areas such as dining, housing, and university health and counseling services / mental health. I yield the rest of my time for questions.
Any questions? Senator Marty?
What are some issues that you've been finding out about dining?
Some of the concerns that were brought up included usage of meal swipes in a period, as well as their value.
Senator Thompson?
Is it also true that there's problems with portions?
That was a concern that I believe was brought up 1 or 2 meetings ago regarding portion sizes in particular. I believe there has been a conversation with Fabio from either our chair or our co-chair.
Any other questions? Seeing none. We'll go into external committee reports with the University Center Advisory Board.
Hello again. So 3 weeks now ago on March 13th, the UC Advisory Board met. We started discussing new hires, and then, the most notable including Deontay Ramsey's appointment to Interim Associate Director for Student Engagement for the Greek Community. There will be a restructuring within the UC in the coming semesters. This will include moving around different sections of the Connection Center. WSG and many of the other identity-based organizational offices will not be included in the restructuring, however. So additionally, rooms 68 and 69 are going to be repurposed for percussion and piano practice rooms, and rooms 261, 262, 264, and 266 will become new conference rooms. This is because of the winter renovations. There will be new programming and events in the UC, the goal of which is aimed at ensuring higher quality events. They plan on doing so by reinvesting funds and creating soon-to-be posted positions like program specialists who will run different program areas within the UC. There's a survey that has since passed, so additionally, there's a new function on 25 Live that allows you to book rooms in classrooms, and a new function that allows you to enroll on meal plans via Connect 2. We talked about audio and video upgrades in this room. So there will be new monitors on the corners of that wall, there, and then there will be new microphones in the corner, in each of the corners. Additionally, there will also be screens in these slots here. So, yeah, lots of screens and stuff. Dunkin' Donuts has been mostly confirmed, the word mostly, because the project is estimated to be $60,000 above budget, so people are finagling that out. But with all that said, you can get your hopes up. The final major item of note is that the NACUFS survey is open, and it will be until the 10th. It's been open for quite a while. I encourage you to fill that out. So yeah, with that, I yield.
Cool. Are there any questions for Senator Coleman?
Can you elaborate more on the survey?
The NACUFS one, it is, all I have written down is, it's a survey that helps our campus compare dining. Yes, you got this.
The NACFA survey is a survey that is done by a third-party organization. There has been multiple emails sent out by dining, as well as flyers around campus with the QR code leading to the survey. It takes you less than 5 minutes to complete it. The goal was for about 800 responses. I believe that we have reached that, but we would love to hear more. This compares us not only within our university itself, but across the board with various universities across the country.
Senator Marty?
I just wonder, from all the big changes of the rooms, will the WSG still have their office?
Yes, they will. Specifically, like most of the offices will all be the same. Some of the bigger changes that they're looking at is changing SAI and One Stop and the Hawk Card office and like lots of big changes. So.
If you have any questions about that, Angela Mobillion will be joining us in 2 weeks to present all that. So we talked about that this week. I also want to I've been talking to Fabio about getting him to talk about county updates. So if you have any questions, I would save those for those two. Is there a question from the gallery?
Yes. I don't know if you know the answer to this question, but why are we using a third-party service to submit a survey instead of just doing it internally through the University Center?
I would encourage Senator Ely to yield to it.
Yeah, I yield.
It is a national survey that we participate in so that we're comparable, so we're able to access the data from hundreds of other campuses to see how we compare to other campuses. So that's why that system is used. It has been used for several years, so it gives us both longitudinal data as well as comparative data with other campuses.
Any other questions? Any final ones? I'm not seeing any. With that, for the first time ever, we will go into the report of the Segregated University Fee Allocation Committee with Chairman Orrin Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hello, everybody. My name is Orrin, and I have the honor of serving as the chair of the Segregated University Fee Allocation Committee, more commonly known as SUFEC. for the remainder of this academic year. One of the duties of the SUFAC chair is to provide monthly reports to WSG, so here I am. I'm going to give a brief overview of all we've done so far this semester, just to catch you up to speed on what we've been working on, and then give you a preview of what the rest of this semester looks like for SUFAC. So far, under contingency fund requests this semester, we've seen 9 requests that they've got from at the committee. Not all of them were approved, some were denied, and some were postponed. There are 2 requests currently pending to be seen next week. Total dollars approved in contingency requests was up to $7,726. I say up to because sometimes when SUFAC approves a request, we approve for a specific usage and approve a certain amount of money to be used in that way, but they might not use all of that. In line item transfers, which our funds and organization already has that they want to spend in a different way than we originally allocated. We saw 2 requests at the committee level and they were approved. Requests under $100 are under the purview of the chair to approve without needing committee approval, and 4 of those have been seen this semester. We've been working on policy updates to align SUFAC policy with the university's policy framework. We will be meeting, the policy group will be meeting on April 15th. That's relevant leadership from student government, RSGA, NALT, and SUFAC to discuss policy and procedure documents, and it will eventually be brought forth to the Senate for approval following that meeting. I've also followed up after Speaker Patrikas's work gathering the appointments from WSG and the colleges for the 2026 to 27 academic year, and we've almost confirmed the membership of the whole committee for the next year. I yield to questions, Mr. Speaker.
Of course. I'll take the first one. You say almost confirmed. Are you just able to share which appointing authorities you have yet to hear from?
Certainly. I'm awaiting the WSG presidential appointment, but they still have 1 week until the deadline for that appointment. So,
Are there any other appointing authorities that you've not heard from yet?
Not at this time.
So it is only the WSG president you guys hear from?
That would be correct.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to put the scene. Are there any other questions for Chairman Smith? Senator Marty?
What are you excited for with this new SUFAC committee next year?
Sure, I'm excited to get to return. I've been confirmed as the School of Graduate Studies appointment again next year. I think it's going to be an interesting balance, a lot like this year was, with discussions with administration about trying to keep student fees down, and more creative conversations about what that looks like and how we can implement that. I'm also hopeful that with the new policy updates that we're working on, that our vice chair structure will be able to better support the outreach and education aspect of SUFAC, which we have kind of lost in the last few years.
Are there any other questions? Cool. I'm not seeing any. With that, we're going to our, thank you, Chairman Smith. Alrighty. With that, we're going to the officer reports, starting with the president, the Honorable Student Body President, Mr. Douglas L. Bradley III. Do you have to say anything, or do you want to give the...
Yeah, yield the questions.
Yield the questions. The officer report is on screen. Madam Vice President, be able to just scroll through it so people can... Are there any questions for President Bradley? I've seen one from the gallery.
Sorry for asking all these questions. What are the topics of these open forums for the rest of this week?
They're for the provost search. So they are a time where individuals can go and see or hear from the 3 provost candidates that will be on campus this week. The questions are pre-prepared, so it's not a Q&A session, but it's a chance for you to go and hear the answers to some questions that have been prepared in advance. I highly encourage you to attend. I think we have, Abby and I together, we have 3 pretty great candidates coming to campus all this week, so the times are listed as well as dates.
If you're a current member of the organization, the deputy speaker sent you a calendar invite for it. So that's on your calendar. Those of us that have access yet, I know it's me. But I Are there any other questions for the president? Not seeing any. We'll go to the report of Madam Vice President, Riser.
So I know we usually kind of yield, but while you're looking through my report, I do want to take some time just to provide 2 reminders. So please complete the WSG Gala RSVP by next Wednesday, and you're welcome to bring guests. We would encourage that so they can see what you've been involved in throughout the year. And then if you're interested in applying to the WSG Commitment to Service Scholarship, that application has been sent to you, but it is due this Friday at 5 p.m. So if you're interested in applying to that, please make sure you get that in by 5 p.m. And then other than those, I do have a sheet of paper where I'm going to pass it around, and then please put your pronouns, and then we're going to update your placards. So with that, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
What is the WSG Commitment to Service Scholarship?
So that scholarship, it is given to anyone that has not been compensated, and it's really to honor your dedication to the organization, and then beyond that, also to serving students. So there is language in there about being a servant leader. So overall, it's your dedication to the student body, and there's like formal language that's found in the standing rules that you'll find too. But that's kind of the overall picture.
Any other questions? Not seeing any. We'll go into the report of our advisor. Jim Park.
Good evening, everyone. I've been heavily involved with just supporting the election process for tomorrow, making sure everything is set up and that we have volunteers. Really, the staff in the Division of Student Affairs have come through, and we've got at least 3 volunteers for every hour during the day tomorrow, with a couple of WSG folks in there as well. The only space that we really would love to see some student assistance with, although you're welcome there all day, is the cleanup period that's at 7:45 p.m. tomorrow. The process is not a short one if there's just a few people, but if we've got 10-15 people, it's probably 20 minutes worth of work, and would really very much appreciate you being there. It'd be a great thing to put on the application for the scholarship for the senators, right? So don't forget that opportunity. 7:45 p.m. Hamilton Room tomorrow night. Other than that, really just supporting everyone else through all of the forms and things that they're creating. We have a great opportunity to have a 250-year American flag that we're working on ways to accept that as a student government on behalf of campus. So there's lots of great stuff coming for you all. And with that,
Any questions for the advisor, Senator Marty?
Is there certain rules about saying the Pledge of Allegiance to a 250-year-old American flag? Because I know that there was 13 colonies on the 250-year-old American flag. We have to say the Pledge of Allegiance to 50 states. This is like a technique. This is point of information.
You have an answer.
Max, would you mind repeating the question?
I
apologize.
So, is there a technicality of saying the Pledge of Allegiance to 13 colonies, then 50 states?
I don't find this particularly relevant to advisor
It's
questions.
strictly ceremonial, and it won't replace our flag. It is simply a way of honoring the fact that we're moving to our 250th year as a nation.
All right. Any other questions for our advisor? And not seeing any. With that, we'll go into the report of the Director of Academic Affairs, Ms. Olivia Gross.
Are we doing verbal reports?
Do you wish to give one? Otherwise you can yield the question.
I have a question.
So could you, President Bradley?
Yeah.
Could you scroll to the report? Are there any questions? Not seeing any. Are there any? All right. With that, we'll go to the report report of our Director for Student Affairs, Annie Rosquist. I'll also accept questions. I hope she'll also accept questions on behalf of Keith Warner.
Yeah, I'll accept questions for both. Just a quick reminder, we do have a Student Affairs Committee meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for those who are on that. Otherwise, I yield questions.
Are there any questions for the Student Affairs Director? Seeing none, we're going to the report of our Director of Communications, Ms. Picciolino, and Vice President Moore.
You have any questions?
Are there any questions for the Director? Not seeing any. We're going to the report of our Clerk, Ms. Sadie J. West. She yields to questions. Are there questions for our clerk? Seeing none, we'll go into the report of our Senate parliamentarian, Mr. Jordan Burnell.
Good evening. So, last week I had the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committees. I also did some committee work and some work on some legislation. Overall, it was a pretty relaxed week for me. But yeah, the first outreach event was due. Shout out to everyone who did it, which was most of you, so thank you very much. The next one will be due coming up on the 13th. Same rules apply. If you are unable to do it, just let me know. Come talk to me, we can figure something out. Otherwise, you will be marked unexcused, given an unexcused absence. I will be talking with our new deputy speaker here about it, and too bad, so sad. Yeah. For our little did you know fact for this week, any valid motion that you have, as long as it is valid and reasonable, as when you make it, the chair must accept it. If it is a motion that is pertinent to the situation and is reasonable at the time, the chair has to take it into consideration. Yeah, simple. Very, very, very simple report this week. I yield to questions.
Are there any questions for our parliamentarian? President Bradley?
When you say a valid motion, are you referring to precedents?
Sorry, can you clarify?
Sure, there's probably 4 different kinds of motion. I'm just asking, there's different kinds of motions in Robert's rules that carry different precedents. So not all motions can be asked about other motions around the floor. Is that what you're referring to when you say valid?
Meaning it must be, sure, it must be, yes, in order of precedence. So you can't make a main motion while a subsidiary motion is on the floor. But also it must be germane. Yeah, those are the 2 key words.
Can you spell that word? You mean precedent?
It's spelled like precedent, where in the Robert's rules it's pronounced precedence.
Cool.
It used to be.
Precedence, like precedes.
Yeah.
It's like read and read.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact, isn't it?
Yeah. Because the former parliamentarians know that.
CE at the end.
Yeah, can you believe it? Sounds crazy. All right, are there any other questions for the parliamentarian?
I have one last thing.
Yes, of course.
I still have these little notepads if you want them to write down constituent concerns. I handed them out earlier in the semester, when I was first elected. If you still want them, I still have them. Or if you just ran out of paper in your last one, just let me know. I have a whole bunch still.
Is that all of them?
This is not all of them, I just have more. Please, just let me know. I have them. Please take them.
Any other questions for our parliamentarian? With that, we go into the report of our Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Ms. Elizabeth Vanderhyde.
Good evening. I would just like to say thank you for electing me. And then don't forget to do your office hours. As I do this
Are there any questions? Just a fun fact for you all. I believe this is the first time a woman has been elected to Senate leadership in half a decade.
What?
So it's a fun fact for you. I believe the last one was Elizabeth Weisbrod, who then became vice president. So, yeah, certainly not my time. Allison? Allie? Gavin's vice president?
You said Elizabeth.
Oh, Allison? I don't know, there's a lot of.
No, you're good.
Before my time, so give me some grace. So, with that, we're in my report. I'm gonna try to have a long one, so I apologize. So, I put a notification of absences process in here, but you're gonna get an email. I don't think I spelled it out with that correctly. But essentially, the first step is emailing the deputy speaker for everything. If it's for a outreach event, you can also reach out to the parliamentarian, or you should email both, right? If it is for a committee, you should email the deputy speaker and the committee chair. And then if you disagree, the deputy speaker will, she's hearing this for the first time too, so I hope you agree with this, but she will make a determination if it is excused or if it's unexcused. If you disagree with her, you can raise it to me, and then I will make that final determination. And then if you disagree with my determination and you reach 4 unexcused absences are removed, you can appeal that decision and make your case before the Senate. This is not really new, it's just kind of been the first time we've spelled it out. Any questions on that? Alright, as I announced last week, next week will be our Rock County meeting. So there are full promises right there. Could you pass that out to everyone? If you're attending the Rock County meeting next week, I need you to sign one. And I cannot coordinate travel. We will be carpooling. I cannot coordinate that. At the end of the meeting, if you have a car and you wish to drive people, I'll ask you to stand up and people can come up and ask you if you could drive with you. But it'll be a fun process to not coordinate because we can't do that. But we'll need to sign a whole farm list. Any questions on that, Senator Marty?
Why can't we take the bus to Rock County?
Do you have costs on those buses?
It was around $1,000 last year, I believe.
Around $1,000?
Oh.
So that's why you don't have, unless anyone's looking to make a donation of $1,000. President Alexis, are you?
You can, as you can coordinate your own travel, you could take the shuttle to Rock County. Depending on if it arrived on time, like you'd have to coordinate your travel home, but you'd have to coordinate it on your own. So if you want to explore campus earlier in the day, I'm sure there'd be nothing wrong with you taking a shuttle.
Yeah, we'll be hearing from some rock-related guest speakers. I've also been working on a rock-related bill that will be fun. I'm looking for some committee assignments. Former speaker didn't assign people to like half of our external committees, so he's up to me to pick up that slack. But I am looking for assignments internally to the Constitutional Revision Committee, the Budget Committee, Student Affairs Committee? Student Affairs, yeah? Oh, you'll do that. Sure. Student Affairs and Academic Affairs, and actually now, Internal Evaluation Committee. So if you're interested in any of those, you should come talk to me after the meeting. And then externally, the Housing Exemption and Contract Release Committee that I'm currently a member of. If someone submits a contract release or a housing exemption, that committee looks and votes on it if it should be approved. So you've never heard a report from that one. Everything we talk about is confidential, but I'm looking for someone to succeed me in that committee. The Chancellor's Committee on Well-Being. I believe that's meeting May 12th at 11 a.m. So if you can make that and are interested, reach out. The Course Materials Committee, the Crossman Gallery Advisory Committee, the General Education Review Committee, GERD, Intercollegiate Athletics Committee, Library Services Committee, the Sexual and Interpersonal Violence Subcommittee on Prevention and Education. I'm looking for representatives on. So if you're interested in any of those, you can talk to me. Additionally, I want to start something new. I want to start appointing people to every shared governance group to go to their meetings and just kind of take notes of what they're up to. Be the point of contact for attending those meetings. So Faculty Senate meets Tuesdays, 2 to 3:15. Academic Staff Assembly, 12:30 to 1:45 on Wednesdays. University Staff Council, 9 to 11 on Thursdays. And then the Rochester Government Association meets Thursdays at 11, I believe. Do you have something?
I was just gonna clarify, it's not every week, it's bi-weekly for some of them. So like Faculty Senate, it's the second and the fourth Tuesday. So it's not every week.
Yeah, not every week. So if you can make those times and are interested in attending those, you should reach out.
Can you repeat the Wednesday time?
Academic Staff Assembly meets 12:30 to 1:45 on Wednesday. And then some other changes to do with committees. I removed Isaiah Wilson from all of his internal and external committees. He's no longer a senator. Appointed him as a WSG representative on the AI Advisory Committee, Strategic Planning and Budget Committee, Warhawk Dining Advisory Committee, and then the Co-Curricular Committee. I also moved myself to committees that the speaker is a part of, that the deputy speaker is not a part of. I'm their line, thank you for joining us. And I will be making the changes of any committees that Elizabeth was on, making those changes. George Purnell is now the vice chair of the Communications Committee. Congratulations. I sent lots of emails about committees that we haven't been appointing people to, or committees that we have been appointing people to, but that don't meet. Any question about anything committee related? Send them most of the time I spent last week. Senator Marty?
How do I make sure I get more involved with committees than just, yeah, pretty much, how do I make sure that I get more involved in committees, or like, I try to do the assignments and sometimes, I don't know, I make mistakes.
Could you repeat the question?
I'll talk to you after.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Last week we approved election results. I just want to thank Chairman Lachlan Reaper of the Constitution Revision Committee for updating the Constitution. I'm going to send that to you all, but it's in the Senate Share Drive. As I mentioned earlier, the instructor awards will be a mandatory event, are a mandatory event. Email the Deputy Speaker if you're unable to attend. But April 28th in UC 275 from 4 to 5. That is the mandatory part. Afterwards, 5 to 6 is a social hour. So, is there a dress code for that event?
I prefer for you to look a little bit nice, so like business casual.
Yeah.
So this.
But like again, like if you're going to class.
No, it's not a lot.
Don't show up in like pajamas, but.
April 28th, 4 to 5 is awards. Mine is 26th.
And then the nomination form for Senator of the Year was sent out last week. Everyone other than our two newest appointed senators received that. I can send this to all of you, but complete that form by Friday, otherwise you will not be able to be considered for that award. The other thing is placards. We've been having an issue with people not bringing them. So we're gonna start automatically collecting them again. Yeah, so if you want, it'll be optional this time, right? So if you want to bring it, you want to keep it with you, free to do that. You get one strike, and you miss it once, you're good. The second time you miss it, you're automatically put on the collect list. So today does not count. Sorry, just give you the not bring it. Any questions with the placard thing or anything?
What do you do if your placard is starting to fall apart?
Reach out to the deputy speaker.
Okay.
The other thing is just a lot of meetings last week and this week. Any questions about anything report related?
Are you unable to be considered for Senator of the Year if you don't turn in, complete the form, or are you unable to submit your nominations?
Both.
So it bars you from being considered?
Currently there is a 4-way tie for fourth. So I really want to break that tie. But any questions? Any other questions? I'm not seeing any. Alrighty. With that, we are into unfinished business. People, starting with S25-2610, the Act establishing student feedback on university policy. Let's pull that up. This week is just discussion, so, and then voting. And the discussion's open.
Good luck.
Yeah, I did. I know that the submitters were kind of getting their stuff all together and get ready, but I would love to say that I love that we're writing a bill about university. I love the topic of this bill, and I love how it looks, I love everything like that, because I want students to have a voice on this issue, and I want students to inherently be into university policy, considering it governs all of us. And it really kind of, I think students should be involved in what rules they follow, right?
Senator Marty.
I wonder, how would we have students participate? So how would students actually participate in Whitewater and share their own opinion about what they want to see with this?
Well, you're in luck. Last week I received a policy from our president, and pending the vote of today, it will be assigned to the Academic Affairs Committee.
Ooh.
So if this bill passes, I will be directing that committee chair to meet as soon as possible to complete what is required in the bill. So if you're on the Academic Affairs Committee, I believe you are. Although this is an open meeting, you'll see it in action. Director Gross.
Yeah, I personally, I do like this bill. I know I cannot vote, but having sometimes like with internal committees, like me running one, obviously there's so many different topics that we can talk about in academic affairs, but it's also really nice to have some of these policies we can talk about in addition to the other topics that we are currently discussing. I think it gets students more involved in the realm of academic affairs and student affairs and communications. It just, we're student government, we should be looking at these and understanding what university policies are. And so it just lets us get
more student feedback on these policies that affect all of us, as well as get a bit more senator engagement.
I'm gonna ask for unanimous consent to amend now Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde's title from Senator to Deputy Speaker. Just to clarify it. Any opposed to that? Seeing none, that change will be reflected in the final bill. Senator Healy.
I want to say that I like this bill because it gives the committees more of a purpose. It gives them more things to do just in general. And also it doesn't take away any responsibilities from the president. It just expands who gets to say and what happens. So yeah, I hope you vote aye.
Senator Marty.
I just am excited that I can finally, that we can all finally have a chance to do a job and live and apply to it. Your vision is to be more active in student government by doing what the students voted us to do.
President Bradley, and then President Technology.
I received many requests to look at policies that are being created or rescinded or whatnot. So not only are you not taking away any responsibility of me, as I still get to give my own feedback and get feedback from those close to me, but it's very much helpful for me when receiving dozens of policies. I'm a busy guy, doesn't have the time to give it all of my attention that it deserves. And so I appreciate this piece of legislation because it helps you help me.
Hate to do this, but point of order, can't make clerical edits in the second week.
Guess you're stuck as Senator.
Okay. Senator Coleman?
Is there a strategy involved for when the bill is passed to make as many of the student body aware of it?
Any other discussion?
I think the bill is great because it'll have more people looking at policy, and it'll have policy under more of a magnifying glass, and it'll have students really looking at policy and sort of generating these ideas of what we want and what we really want to change and what we want to see in our institution.
Senator Marty.
I do think, pulling off of Senator Coleman's point of making sure that this bill is going to be speaked about often, we do have to make sure that this bill gets recognized and known throughout the students to hear what their concerns are and to learn what it is. We could talk to the people within the Letters and Sciences Department and some professors to explain to be more active in student government and to try to talk to some law professors and some broad individual and society professors upon that to get the bill, get the message of the bill out there as well, and utilize, and with posters and more information upon that as well.
You know, engaging your constituents is a great way to be a senator.
Yes.
So I would encourage you to engage your constituents.
I will also do that as well.
Any other discussion? Other than that, I'm not seeing any. Missing a clerk, so Madam Vice President, are you able to take roll?
Just point up the list, names.
You go to the roster document, there's a list of everyone.
Good thing I have
Or
that
you
up
can
today.
just go in a circle.
We're
I'm ready.
all right. Ready? Senator Coleman.
Aye.
Senator Giannetti.
Aye.
Senator Gulig.
Aye.
Senator Hernandez, which is not here. Senator Kiwu.
Aye.
Senator Lang.
Aye.
Senator Majors.
Aye.
Senator Marty.
Aye.
Senator Purnell, or Parliamentarian Purnell.
Aye.
Senator Reberg.
Aye.
Senator Reyes.
Aye.
Senator Schaffnagel.
Aye.
Senator Thompson.
Aye.
Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde. Senator Wheaton.
Aye.
Senator Warner. Absent right now. And then Speaker Patricus.
Aye. And vote of 15-0. S25, 26, 10, the act establishing student feedback on university policies has passed unanimously.
We did it, Dan. We did it.
Alrighty. Alrighty, with that, we're into new business, starting with S25-2611, the Senate Leadership Reorganization Act of 2026. I will be passing the gavel to,
The seniors will have the floor when they are ready.
I know.
Alrighty. Last week I talked about this, about expanding Senate leadership. So sorry, everyone. But I'll just summarize it. Stop me at any time if you wish. It's just another standing rules change. As a definition, governing documents defines that we do individual outreach events. This is more comprehensive than our current process, which is just they will exist. Right. It also outlines like you're exempted from outreach events that occurred prior to joining, or if it's within 2 weeks of joining. So if you join, right, you're not immediately hit with an unexcused absence for not doing something. It rewrites the summary meeting section. This is the fun part. So what this does is it splits the role of parliamentarian into the parliamentarian stays as the person who knows rules, right, advises on procedure, right? And there's a new position, the Senate Outreach Officer, or as Doug has been calling it, the SOO. So, in the order, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, the SOO, and then the Parliamentarian. I'm going to use that, I like it. There is a fun thing, and we'll get to it when we get to it, but the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and then the Outreach Officer are elected, and then the Parliamentarian becomes appointed role. And in the bill, language itself, the current holders of those positions will continue in their respective roles, so we're not going to do elections again, I apologize. But, yeah. So, Senate officers have to be senators for the entirety of their term. Any Senate officer may be removed from their position while retaining their Senate seat with a 2/3 majority vote of the Senate. That's just from Robert's rules, right? You can be removed from your officer position. We don't have that in our standing rules right now, but it does exist in Robert's rules. So just to kind of codify that. In the Constitution, right, it said Rock County senators have to attend meetings in person. We changed it to all Senate officers. This just defines it again. And then the Speaker of the Senate may delegate some or all of their responsibilities for a defined period of time or for a specific action. This must occur with their explicit approval, and authorities do not automatically transfer. this is like, you're gonna read this and it might give you pause, because why is the speaker delegating all of their responsibilities? But one of the responsibilities of the speaker is chairing meetings. Power has been delegated to parliamentarian turnout. So that's what that means, right? Or if the speaker's in Thailand and cannot run the meeting, you can delegate those responsibilities, right? So that's what that means, right? And then rewrite every single position description. And stop me, I'm gonna just touch on big things as they happen. I mean, most of this is already in there, right? I added be a voting member of the non-alcohol leadership team. That's not a change that is currently practiced. That's from our SUFAC policy. I believe it's just adding it in here. Be an ex officio member of SUFAC and meet regularly with its chair to be apprised of all actions of the committee. Again, not a new thing, that's in current SUFAC policy. Retain all rights as afforded to senators, including the right to debate and vote on all matters before the Senate without relinquishing the chairship. We saw that a couple weeks ago. Maintain a transition binder. I have yet to start that for the speaker position. The deputy speaker one's done. I got that at least. And then it adds, all emails sent to or received from this account are considered official business and public records and must be preserved. Yeah. For the deputy speaker, there's more change here. But this functionally, we'll see how this happens, right? But oversee the management of Senate personnel. It's just worded differently. It's tracking membership, attendance, notifying the speaker of attendance status, monitoring the fulfillment of office hours, committee obligations, and assigned tasks. It's just reworded, right? The deputy speaker does get internal and external committees, so maintaining a list of all of when they meet, their membership, all agendas and minutes. That's something I really want to prioritize. Coordinate the distribution and updating of senators' placards and submit to the president a record of what is printed. Printing can be expensive, so make sure that the president is apprised of all financial matters that are happening within the organization. It's never been defined who does placards, so the deputy speaker used to do it. I think at one time a vice president was bored and wanted something to do, so they started doing it. This was
make that clear.
Was it 1 or 2 ago? We'll figure it out. Yeah, so then they started doing it. But this puts it into the deputy speaker, and then we'll do that collection thing that I mentioned earlier. Be the office manager for the Senate office. Former Vice President Bang thought that was our practice, and I had to correct him. No, actually, this is your job to oversee the office. And he's like, well, do you want to just do it? I was like, I can, sure. So this codifies that. And again, it's the, retain all rights for the senators, prepare a transition binder, email account thing. And then this is added. If you look at any of the position descriptions for e-board, it is always like the perform additional duties as assigned. Any employment agreement you'll have is that, and that's how they get you. It's any additional duties as assigned, when that might not be your explicit role. This is not that, because Senate leadership is not employees of the president. This is perform additional duties as agreed upon with the speaker, right? So if we agree that the deputy speaker should do something, then it's the deputy speaker's responsibility. But it is not as assigned, it's as agreed upon, right? The STU, this is the new one. This is pretty bare bones, I think, because I don't know what it'll look like in practice, right? This has not existed. I think the last time Senate leadership changed was renaming Sergeant at Arms to Deputy Speaker maybe 20 years ago. But I don't know what this will look like in practice. The task of the inaugural holder of this position will be figure that out. So if this passes, that election will be next week. This does individual outreach events. So instead of reporting to the parliamentarian, you'd report them to this position. And then it also does large scale events. So forums, town halls, listening sessions. A big thing that we will stress is this position will not act like independently. Right? It will help if you have financial backing. It will also just help to have the support of your fellow senators and Senate leadership. But then also maintaining a calendar of outreach activities, be a voting member of communications, elections, engagement, and then the Senate Leadership Committee. Maintain a transition binder. I want to get an email account for it. I don't know what that'll look like yet, but when that is determined, it will be replaced. And then the parliamentarian, be appointed by the Speaker of the Senate based solely on the fitness to perform the duties of the position, subject to confirmation by a simple majority vote of the Senate. When I showed this to President Bradley, it was the first pushback I heard on this idea, so I would love to yield some time to him to explain his side. But the reason I would like the parliamentarian to be appointed is this line right here. Advise the Senate is first, because it will always exist, but primarily the Speaker of the Senate on procedural questions and interpretation of governing documents during meetings while maintaining impartiality and providing such advice. Now, we are very fortunate as a body that parliamentarian personnel is so good at their job. But we have had parliamentarians in the past who have ran just because they want a position, right? They want a leadership role, and this is the lowest on the totem pole, I'll say, right? I was parliamentarian. I have been on this one. That's why I was deputy speaker for a year and a half. But, you know, that has always existed. I hope for it to never exist again. That's why I believe the parliamentarian should be appointed. So that the speaker can appoint someone who they trust to be knowledgeable of the rules, right? But also, that is not gonna stab them in the back or purposely not interpret, give them advice or give them bad advice, right? The speaker appointing a parliamentarian, they would kind of be, I won't say beholden, but might feel a debt to the speaker and want to repay that by being a good parliamentarian. But, yeah, so the rest of what the parliamentarian does, monitor quorum before and during Senate meetings, notify the speaker if quorum is at risk or lost, coordinate with the Speaker of the Senate to develop orientation materials for newly elected and appointed senators, and to prepare training materials for especially Senate retreat. That's the other part of this. We're taking away outreach events from the parliamentarian, but adding in training. And then voting member of Constitution Revision, Records and Archives, Senate Leadership, and then ex officio of the Internal Evaluation Committee. And that is to advise on procedure, right? Yeah, but I would like to yield to President Bradley, if he wishes, just to provide his insight or his opinion, and then we can go from there as a body.
Thank you, Speaker Rodriguez. I think for the exact reason Nick laid out and why he believes that the parliamentarian should be appointed, I believe it should not be appointed. I believe, Nick said the Speaker should trust the parliamentarian. I think that's, sure that's true, but more importantly, it should be the Senate that trusts the parliamentarian. It's not the Speaker that's important in this equation, it's the Senate. The parliamentarian is advising the entire Senate, not just the Speaker. And I'd like to see the parliamentarian elected by the Senate, not just appointed by the Speaker and approved by the Senate. Again, to Nick's point of, I don't think there should be any kind of debt of gratitude owed to the Speaker. I don't want the Speaker to have any kind of leverage whatsoever on the parliamentarian because of their role. I think a fear I would have if this legislation passed with 5.5A written how it currently is that a parliamentarian feels that they can't speak up and advise the Speaker during a meeting because they feel they owe it to the Speaker to let them just kind of go about their business. Nick and I spoke about what is the best way to proceed. I think we agreed on, let's hear what the Senate has to say, but I am given a tremendous deal of pause proceeding with 5.5 written as it is, 5.5A.
Mr. Chair, would it be permissible to do just a couple-minute discussion on that point?
Sure.
If people wish.
Discussion is on 5.5A in particular. Senator Marty?
I believe that, yes, the parliamentarian should advise the Senate and help teach younger senators and then upcoming senators what does it mean with Robert's Rules of Order. And I have to piggyback off of Doug's statement of, yes, the Senate should approve the parliamentarian because we are voted by the constituents to make sure that we are that we all learn how to understand the policies, procedures, and inner workings of student government so that we may get the bills passed for the constituents as well.
Speaker, yes.
I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page for the record. This would be appointed by the Speaker and then subject to confirmation by the Senate. So much like how we did Senator Giannetti's two-fact appointment, where it was selected by the Speaker, the Senate was still able to question him and vote on it, right? I will see that soon with e-board appointments, how the clerk is appointed. This is just moving to that system.
Senator Wheaton?
I guess it's kind of a point of clarification, but it's just about this point. If the Senate, let's say, doesn't approve the parliamentarian position that you hold and it's denied by a vote, what's going to happen to that position? Are they still going to get it, just not with a vote good standing with the Senate? Or is the Speaker going to reconsider another person? What would that process look like if they're not confirmed?
Yeah. So it does say C, 5.1C says must appoint. So there's not like the option to not appoint one. But if the Senate doesn't confirm it, I guess you should look for someone else, right?
My only hesitation to that would be if that's not in the standing rules, if that disagreement or that non-approval, non-confirmation is not in the standing rules, and the Speaker decides to not do what you just said, I mean, there's nothing saying that you can't continue on with the appointment that you chose, even if we say no as a Senate body. So that's just my one hesitation, that it's not firmly in there stating options of next steps.
I'm slightly confused by your point.
I'm worried that if there's not clear next steps and they're not written out, you're just gonna, a speaker could just ignore it, or do, take a bullet or take one from the team and appoint the parliamentarian anyway, even with the disapproval.
Well, so you couldn't, right? That's just like,
Okay.
you need the Senate confirmation.
Okay.
That's what this is saying.
Right.
If the Senate does not confirm, that person is not parliamentarian.
Your first response just ended on a question, so I just became hesitant from that, but okay.
But
I understand.
if the Senate doesn't confirm, then find someone else, because obviously the Senate doesn't want to confirm this person. Functionally speaking, you could always keep putting the same person up to be voted on. The Senate could keep rejecting this person, right? So it's kind of a lost cause at that point. What's most likely is you find someone else who's more qualified that the Senate would approve.
I'm in agreement with President Bradley's point that I don't think it should be the speaker that exclusively appoints the parliamentarian, I don't know, I think it just makes a conflict of interest, and it just like doesn't allow other senators to, what's the word, nominate a parliamentarian themselves. So I don't know.
Senator Giannini.
I agree mostly with the wording of this section. The only hesitation that I have is the fact that theoretically the speaker could functionally make the position vacant by repeatedly appointing the same person to then be rejected by the Senate. There's no timetable to say, okay, the Senate's rejected somebody, say twice, we're gonna have to pivot to a new person.
Senator Rodriguez.
Would it make you more comfortable if there was a timetable? Like if it said, must appoint a senator to be Senate parliamentarian within 2 weeks of vacancy? Or is it the same concerns?
It's more so about like the individual. Say you keep appointing the same individual, rather because like there's only so much. Like you have to kind of do that within an allotted amount of time. I think it's just more so continually appointing the same person if you know they're going to get rejected.
I mean, I agree with you. Sorry, I agree with you on both of your points. If you have a way that these can be worded that addresses your point, if it's permitted by the chair, I would treat it as friendly.
Is there a motion on the floor?
And I don't really know the exact wording.
Is someone making a motion?
Do you want to make a motion to do that?
Yeah, motion to amend the section 5.5 to include a 2-session maximum for the appointment of same individual. First parliamentary. There's theoretically the ability for the speaker to continually reappoint.
So, the motion is to add to 5.5A, tell me if this sounds right. The same individual may not be appointed more than twice.
May not be nominated more than twice.
You could add a sentence right at the end of this. The same individual may not be reappointed if not confirmed by the Senate. And a parliamentarian must be appointed within 2 weeks of a vacancy. 2 meetings?
Well, I think the issue with like the specific timetables, then you're kind of like, it's less of an issue about, the time, because I think it's beneficial to have, if there's an excessive amount of debate, I think it is productive to have that, but it's more so about just like the individuals in question. So more so an individual, if they're rejected twice by the Senate, should not be able to be renominated.
Could you solidify that in writing and come back to me with it?
Yes.
Senator Lane.
I think, I know that 2 weeks is usually the standard time frame that we give for things, but if there is, for some reason a vacancy or someone is not approved, there should be a new person put up for approval at the next regularly scheduled meeting, unless it's like, you know, Sunday night, 5 minutes before the agenda goes out or something like that, but like, parliamentarian in this case would still be a part of Senate leadership, which is vital to the body functioning properly, and the sooner we have someone put up, the better.
Senator Reyes, is that a?
Yep. Point of clarification, so if the speaker were to appoint a parliamentarian, would the parliamentarian vote in passing pieces of legislation?
That was a long debate we had about whether the parliamentarian should be a senator. I think ideally they are not a senator, but just logistically, how likely are you to find someone who is super exceptional at parliamentary procedure, who is not already a member of a body, or is a member of the body, and willing to give up their seat for the no pay that the parliamentarian gives? I don't find that likely, so.
So, to clarify, as written, it is.
Must be a senator.
That the parliamentarian must be a senator, so yes, they would be voting, voting to speak member. Senator Moore.
I'm just thinking that we need to have competition within running for parliamentarian, because when I watched, sorry to say this, Jordan versus Lofton, on how we had productive competition for the best person to win the seat, it ended up making all of the fellow senators think about deeply on who we wanted to have an organized and good parliamentarian for the role. Similar with deputy speaker, we had elections for that. So I think, yes, it is very important and critical that we all have elections for parliamentarian.
Speaker, Patricius.
We worked together long enough, I hope you know what I put up. So what this does, to your point, Senator Marty, it does not reduce the amount of elections we have. There are still 3 elected officers. So that is not, right? A good speaker would solicit who is interested, right? Some of that stuff you just can't write into our rules, like the exact process of how it'll happen, because every speaker will do it different. Every Senate will operate slightly differently, right? So there's some of that you just can't like write down, but yeah, I mean.
Senator Aguirre.
I move to strike letter C and replace it with other words. Could you scroll down a little bit? And then
What are you looking to do? Can I help you?
wait, never mind.
Senator Reyes.
It's possible that I'm just missing it in the bill, but is there a process outlined for the actual confirmation? Would it be similar to running for a different position, like deputy speaker or any of the other positions? Is it like an interview period and then we would vote, or is it like, do you have a process outlined for that?
That's what I mean by like some of that stuff you can't write down, right? Every speaker would do it differently, I'm sure. I'm going to say this in an open record that Jordan is my ideal parliamentarian. He's been excelling at the role. And as long as I'm speaker, as long as Jordan wishes to be parliamentarian, Jordan will be parliamentarian. But like, I will not be speaker forever. And so upon that day, if they're looking, right, you could do interviews, you could just ask for nominations. You could just say, reach out to me if you're interested. There's a lot of different ways to solicit interest in parliamentarian. I trust that one day that speaker will figure out the best way to do it.
Yeah. I, for one, am not in favor of not having an outline process. A different speaker, 20 years down the line, if there's still nothing outlined, might take advantage of the system, or it might change things for their own benefit. And I think that if we can put it in writing and have a solidified process, we should do that.
So I'm really, really in favor of having a parliamentarian be appointed rather than sort of picked out of the body. To Doug's point, I do see that there's like a indebtedness to that, and it kind of sort of looks like that, but I see it very differently. I think that the parliamentarian and speaker are two roles that need to work really, really well together. And I think that having the speaker choose the parliamentarian allows them to pick someone who's still very good at the role and knows the rules, but is not going to try to gotcha them in the middle of the floor, is not going to try to be adversarial openly just to kind of do it. I think that having that relationship is bolstered by them choosing the person who gets to do it. And I think the confirmation of the Senate is a check enough, considering that you can get elected from a majority vote. So, it changes who is picked, maybe, because other speakers can do nominations or interviews, or that process can look completely different. So I don't think it's necessarily immediately an indebted thing, and I don't think we should necessarily presume that it would be something that someone would fall over somebody else's head.
Senator Leon.
I agree with that point that Senator Lofton just made. I think, like I might assume a lot of you when we read this, got this in the agenda and read this, first I was intrigued at the point of separating parliamentary procedure and outreach aspect from the parliamentarian, and then reading more that it'd be an appointed position. It's taken a little bit of time, but I'm definitely adapted to it, and I really like this idea because, like Lofton said, you're gonna verify that they are here for the Senate and know parliamentary procedure and Robert's rules. I would not have been a good parliamentarian because I didn't know Robert's rules, like Parliamentarian Purnell and Senator Reber did. I'm great at outreach and coordinating, but I was not good at the Robert's rules parts. And I think that's the main focus of our parliamentary procedure here. So I'm really in favor of this, and I think after time, I hope others will.
Seeing no further, my apologies, Senator Coleman.
To make the case for this procedure being by being appointed, not necessarily within, but just as a part of the nature of perhaps seeking counsel from the deputy speaker as to deliberate perspectives on the appointing process.
Senator Lane.
Is there a process outlined for removal of the parliamentarian? Because while yes, in this they would be appointed by the speaker, and yes, they have to be approved, but the parliamentarian is there to serve the speaker and the rest of the Senate, and that should be the Senate's decision if they believe that the parliamentarian is not serving them accordingly.
In our current standing rules, no. Under this structure, the Senate officers include parliamentarian, and then any Senate officer may be removed from their position. So, 2/3 majority. But yeah, I tried to. If you look at how our federal government operates, right? The U.S. House and the Senate, they all appoint a parliamentarian. So this is not unlike those systems. We kind of do it unique in that we elect one. But fun fact. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
I have a point of discussion. My sticking point here, I agree with, I could go either way on it, on the appointment. My sticking point is that in my opinion, the biggest job of a parliamentarian is to be annoying. It's sort of your job to be the guy that sits up there and says, actually.
On the board, we can't make clear votes in assembly.
Right. So having that relationship with the speaker of maybe feeling indebted or having maybe like your term is up and you have to be reappointed, and having that weird relationship with the speaker of I don't know, you were kind of annoying to me last term. It might be a little weird. Speaker, yes.
I feel like indebted was the wrong word, right? My hope is that by the speaker appointing a parliamentarian, they can appoint someone they trust to be good in the role, right? And that means that they'll work well effectively. That means that they will call them out, right? A good leader does not appoint only yes men to their to whatever role, right? And this is not like how the president can fire members of his executive board, right? The parliamentarian can be removed by the Senate or can resign. But there always is that option to not be reappointed, but I hope that the chicanery of not reappointing someone who does not agree with you is something we as a body do not strive to continue.
Advisor Clarkson?
I'm wondering if we have a situation similar to last week when our speaker stepped down mid-term, would at that point the parliamentarian be reappointed?
Would continue.
And is that identified in here? Because it's at
the Senate
review of the
parliamentarian
speaker.
shall serve until the end of the Senate term unless through resignation or removal in accordance with political procedure. So, similar to how, because the speaker stepped down last meeting, the parliamentarian is not reelected, the parliamentarian will not be reappointed because they are appointed for the term. Or if the president steps down, then President Reiser would not appoint a new board of the same directors.
Which is what?
We're getting there, dude.
I will allow one last comment from Speaker.
I really wanted to get this in front of everyone, so you just had a thing to to look at, right? I think this is better than just talking about a concept or an idea, concept of a plan, right? I wanted to have something concrete to present to you all. We should take our time with this, right? So if next week we don't want to vote on it, or we want to make amendments next week, we should make this a 3-week process. But I do have some more on the bill, if you allow me to present the rest of it.
Do we have any further discussion on the appointment of parliamentarian? Seeing none, I will allow you to present the remainder of your.
It's not long, I just want to make sure this is mentioned. The part about being a senator is rewritten. I'd like to print this out, stick it up in the office. So this is like, if you're talking to someone about what does the senator do? This, right? You become knowledgeable of the governance structure of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater and of the Whitewater student government. You become familiar with and utilize parliamentary procedure at Senate meetings. You act in the interests of the students, specifically their respective constituents, during deliberation and decision making. You become knowledgeable of and feel student concern to be able to articulate them. Research ideas, issues that face students to present an informed opinion on topics, right? I want to print this off, stick it on the office of what a senator does. If you're familiar, I mentioned WSG representatives earlier. I've had a lot of beef with that name for a while. I hate the name because it only works externally, it does not work internally. So this is the same function, committee delegate, which works internally and externally. The only difference with this is subject to separate individual confirmation, right? So you would confirm a committee delegate, which is not a thing we do right now with WSG representatives. And then that's currently section 7. This would move it to section 5. So then section 7 is open, and that's where I want to move the advisor section. So it is the exact text of the current advisor section here with no changes. Just take from executive personnel to make it its own section so that the advisor, because the advisor is an advisor to the entire organization, not just one of our 2 branches. And then the final thing is for your office procedures, adding an office manager. So the deputy speaker does oversight of the Senate office, the vice president has oversight of the executive office, and then the president is charged with the coordination and final oversight of all the Whitewater student government office space, including ensuring compliance with any applicable agreements, leases, and university requirements, and then updating the template just because it sucks. And we have not had a director of marketing and public relations or a director of community and communications for since before Davin, at least.
It's 6.
6 years? So that's currently in our standing rules. Yeah, that's the rest of the bill. I yield to the chair.
Beautiful. We are now on to questions. Questions about the entire bill. Senator Majors.
Looking at section 5.7 F, it states that be considered members of the Whitewater Student Government and subject to its governing documents and disciplinary procedures. Does that mean that our delegates would be able to submit IEC reports and anything to do with that?
Not submit because it specifically identifies a senator or a member of the executive board only being able to submit them, but they would be able to be subject of IEC reports. So if they are violating section of the standing rules, they could be submitted to IEC as you're violating your section. And then members of Whitewater Student Government, so they could be considered for emeritus status or some of the other benefits of being a member. Not that I don't think there's any more, but if you wanted to be a committee delegate emeritus, I'm sure I think we could do.
President-elect Wilson.
1 week removed from being speaker, I'm trying very hard not to speak all that much. But I have one question. It pertains to 5.7E. Not speak on behalf of the Whitewater Student Government except for within the committee appointments. I wonder if this verbiage implies that somebody can speak on behalf of the entire organization. And I'm not sure if anywhere in our governing documents that remains true. The implication is that any senator could speak on behalf of the organization, any e-board member could speak on behalf of the organization, or even the president could. I'm not sure that that's entirely true anywhere else in our governing documents or university law. I could be wrong. I would ask question mark. Is that what that implies?
No. I mean, you telling me that for the first time. Yes, I think like it does kind of imply that we should rectify that. I like that how this is written. We should also add not speak on behalf of the entire Whitewater Student Government, or however the city wants to be worded, to the senator section. And then when we get to, if it happens, a rewriting of the executive board position description occurs, we should also add it to that section.
Do we have any more questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none. We are on to content changes. Are there any content changes? President Bradley?
Mr. Parliamentarian, I entertain a motion to. Yeah. Asking for a motion to be entertained that would strike 5.1C, would edit 5.15A to read, be elected by a majority vote of the Senate, and to add the title of parliamentarian in 5.1B after the Senate outreach officer. So that would read the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Senate outreach officer, and parliamentarian.
Second.
Motion is good.
Would you like to make a motion?
Oh, yeah.
President can't make motions.
I said
He's not a
entertained
voting
it.
member.
Oh.
If you wish for the.
I don't know the exact words what he just said,
So moved.
is that, but I think Danny wants to entertain as well.
Just make.
Senator, I move to entertain a motion. A motion has been entertained by Senator Lynn.
Second.
Seconded by Shockman.
I just want my name to be on the second.
You're on to discussion. Senator Wheaton.
Point of clarification, can you read fully what it will say again?
It would do three things. It would strike 5.1C. The Speaker of the Senate must appoint a senator to be the Senate parliamentarian, subject to confirmation by a simple majority vote of the Senate. The Senate parliamentarian shall serve until the end of the Senate term, unless through resignation or removal in accordance with applicable procedure. Strike that. It would change 5.5A to be in line with the other positions and read, be elected by a majority vote of the Senate. And then it would add the word parliamentarian in 5.1B, so that it would read, the Speaker of the Senate, Deputy Speaker of the Senate, and Senate outreach officer, and parliamentarian. I would start from the top on that one. 5.1B, Speaker of the Senate, Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Senate outreach officer, Senate parliamentarian, and Senate parliamentarian will be nominated from and elected by a majority of the Senate at the first Senate meeting of each term, and at the next Senate meeting following a vacancy. They must be senators for the entirety of their term.
Yeah, on that point, I'm not, are we in discussion, right?
Yes.
Of this motion? I'm not in favor of that. I really like letting the speaker, select their, parliamentarian, our parliamentarian, because that allows that, like we discussed earlier, that strong relationship with the two of them, so they can work better when parliamentary problems happen during a Senate meeting.
Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde.
I agree with Senator Wheaton. I believe that the parliamentarian is meant to serve and advise the Senate on procedure. So if we ensure that that is what the parliamentarian is doing because the Speaker is appointing them, then that's what should happen. I don't think that happens when they're elected all the time. We're very lucky right now to have a parliamentarian that is very knowledgeable in that subject, but that is not ensured through that process. So I think by having the Speaker appoint them, and the Senate is still approving that. The Senate can choose not to approve that appointment. So I think we might be overlooking that a little bit, and I think that the parliamentarian should be appointed by the Speaker.
Senator Giannetti.
I'd like to echo the sentiments of Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde. I think that while I do believe that it could be further fine-tuned, I think most of the wording of section 5.5 very much sort of helps strengthen it's sort of the best of both worlds, where it ensures that there is a strong relationship between the Speaker of the Senate and the parliamentarian, while also giving the Senate I believe it's due voice and being able to also determine whether or not they believe that they would like to have a given nominated individual as parliamentarian.
Senator Weaver.
So, very much echo everything that everybody said. I really love the points. I love that it would move to an appointment. And the only thing that I would add is the fact that if you're really questioning whether your speaker is truly appointing someone to be knowledgeable of the rules, and you're questioning that fact in itself, and you're saying maybe they're doing it, or maybe they're kind of keeping them indebted and hoping that they kind of just wait for their next job and stay complacent, I would very much question a speaker if you had that thought in your mind. And I don't think that's an issue with a parliamentarian thing. I think that's much more of an issue that you have with the speakers.
Is there any further discussion? It's going once. Senator Reyes.
I just want to say that I agree with the president that the Senate should elect the parliamentarian.
Is there any further discussion? Going once, going twice. Seeing President Bradley.
Sorry, thank you. I stand by what I said earlier. I think it would be a bad idea to proceed with this without maybe looking into it a little bit more. I'm not convinced of it yet. I think I was awarded it earlier. It gives me a tremendous amount of pause to think that there could be, not corruption, but it would not be as clean as if the Senate appointed it, or elected it rather. I think what I come back to here is the parliamentarian is to advise the Senate. They're here for the Senate. The speaker is just kind of facilitating things in this meeting, but they're here to ensure that all senators are following our rules. And I think that by a speaker appointing, it can make a parliamentarian feel that they somehow owe something to that speaker, and I think that can be very dangerous for our body. So as I said, I'm not fully convinced of it yet. I do not think it's something that we should proceed with, and that's why I wanted to entertain a motion so that this group can talk about it a little further.
Speaker Petrunas.
I agree with something President Bradley said, and that the parliamentarian should not feel indebted to the speaker. And that's why, as part of this, we added in the removal process. So then if you, as a Senate, feel that is transpiring, there's safeguards in place, right? You cannot confirm that person. You can remove them. You can remove the speaker, you can remove the parliamentarian. The staff speaker would be part of this, or the SU, but you could also remove them if they are not fulfilling their outlined responsibilities. You can also submit them to the Internal Evaluations Committee if they're not fulfilling their outlined responsibilities, right? There are safeguards in place. I feel those safeguards are strong enough that the potential negatives of this are outweighed by the positives of that relationship between the speaker and the parliamentarian existing in a good spot, right? Not that so that like the parliamentarian is indebted to the speaker, but that the speaker can appoint someone who will not be bad, right? Someone who will understand, who will have the desire, the drive to learn everything that the role entails, to put in the 30 to 40 hours a week that parliamentarian Purnell puts in. Some parliamentarians have not done that. I think that's a shame.
Senator Warner.
I would just like to echo Patricia's point in saying that it's important to have efficiency in communication inside of the body. I think having good communications and good relationships with leadership of the board And especially as an important position as parliamentarian is, you put in a lot of work, and there's a lot of work entitled to what you do. And the speaker needs a lot of communication between you and the president, and it would just be a key in the whole to just make everything more efficient, to have communication, to have that system where you can appoint them, you can have that system in place instead of having the board wanting to elect someone that may not be as connected and perhaps not involved with the speaker and not having that relationship that is needed for leadership to be cohesive.
Senator Reyes.
Yeah, I agree with the president that the speaker could, abuse his power and there could be corruption within the Senate. Like, I'm not saying he's going to do that, but who knows that in the future the speaker could just appoint his best friend as parliamentarian. And, I just feel like long term that would cause problems. And just the Senate would just be lopsided towards one side with them having the majority of power and corruption.
Just so you know, I'm trying to go pro-con, so don't think that I'm not seeing you here, Danny. But, Senator Weaver.
I would say that if there are any if there's any thought in your mind when somebody picks someone for an appointment that they are just appointing them because they're their best friend or because they're trying to be corrupt, that you should first vote nay on that appointment and then look for the removal of that person, considering they're not following the standing rules, because the standing rules say that you have to appoint the best person to do the job. I do see where everybody's coming from with this, and I do see that there are some problems that always come with appointing people. I just don't, like Nick said, there are plenty of safeguards, even within this legislation, to prevent that. You can just vote them down, you can remove them, you can send them to IEC, you can do any number of things that could apply to anything else. And I really don't think that I don't think corruption is the big selling point, or that anyone would really try to appoint someone who's just their best friend that they kind of just want in there.
Senator Coleman.
I think one of the contingencies or threats that hasn't been discussed is the misinterpretation of Robert's rules. When it comes to having an appointed parliamentarian, I would hope in mind that there were considerations going back to their background and their aspirations towards the role. And that there would be a continued cross-examination and communication of the implementation of these rules.
Also, just to crack down on time a little bit, we're going to start limiting the amount of times people can speak, just so we're all aware going forward. Senator Lane.
I have gone back and forth on this point a lot. When I first read it, I was not really in favor of an appointment process. And then I talked to Speaker Patricus about it, and I was on board with it at that point. And then after hearing some of the concerns brought up, I think ultimately I'm landing on the side of parliamentarians should stay in an elected position. At the very least, it should be nominated by the senators instead of the speaker. And I say this because yes, the parliamentarian would serve the speaker, but also the parliamentarian's main job is to help the Senate do its job, which is serve the student body. And in an effort to do that, we need the most transparency and accountability possible, which means being appointed or at least nominated by the body instead of just the speaker.
All right, we're going to do our last point of discussion. I'm going to give that to President Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Parliamentarian. Just to a note I would make is the removal process has always existed, as outlined in Robert's rules. So this is not a brand new removal process, but I can appreciate that on paper, there seems to be many safeguards in place, but as elected officials must consider what does it look like in practice. And I think it can be very intimidating for a new senator to vote no against a speaker for a parliamentarian, or to send a parliamentarian to IEC, or to try and hold that person accountable in any way. It's already intimidating enough that they're a member, that they're a Senate officer. The fact that they're appointed by the speaker is what I think carries an additional weight. I would like to see some more discussion and collaboration before this bill is in a place to where I think it can be passed.
All right, we are on the motion. President Bradley, if you would read it aloud for us again.
Yep, strike 5.1C, change 5.5A to read be elected by a majority vote of the Senate, and add parliamentarian to 5.1B after the Senate outreach officer, that's Senate parliamentarian.
Beautiful. It needs a 2/3 majority in the affirmative to pass. Madam Vice President, if you would call the roll,
Yep.
that would be greatly appreciated.
Perfect. All right, Senator Coleman.
Aye.
Senator Giannetti.
Nay.
Senator Gulick.
Aye.
Senator Kiwu.
Aye.
Senator Lang.
Aye.
Senator Majors.
Pass.
Senator Marty.
Aye.
Parliamentarian Purnell.
Pass.
Senator Reberg.
Nay.
Senator Reyes.
Aye.
Senator Schropp-Nagel.
Aye.
Senator Thompson.
Aye.
Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde.
Nay.
Senator Wheatman.
Nay.
Senator Warner.
Nay.
Speaker Patricus.
Nay.
Who do we have to come back to?
Parliamentarian Purnell.
Aye.
Senator Majors.
Aye.
Six 6.6.
In a 10-6, the motion does not pass. It needed an 11. We are back onto content changes. Are there any further content changes? Senator Giannetti.
All right, motion to amend 5.1C after the first sentence to say, within 2 weeks of a vacancy of the position. And then at the end of the paragraph of section C, to include if the Senate does not confirm an appointment, they may not be reconsidered for appointment in the same Senate term.
Alright, I've written down.
Oh, I can get my part of it, I'll get the other bit. Give me a second.
We will get that in writing in just a second.
Uno momento.
We are looking for a second. Seconded by Senator Lang. We are on to discussion. Senator Rodriguez.
I like this change.
Beautiful. Senator Reyes.
I also agree with Nick, I think it ensures compliance and make sure that everything is, not corrupted again. guess, in some way.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Senator Giannetti, when you are ready, could you please read your motion?
Okie dokie, so would be to include after the first sentence would be after by a simple majority vote of the Senate, comma, within 2 weeks of a vacancy of the position, right there. And then at the end of the paragraph to include, if the Senate does not confirm an appointment, they may not be reconsidered for appointment in the same Senate term.
Is everyone understood what you're voting? And I would put this language into the bill. A nay would not. Understood? Fantastic. Madam Vice President, if you would please call the roll.
Senator Coleman,
Aye.
Senator Giannetti,
Aye.
Senator Gulick,
Aye.
Senator Kiwu,
Aye.
Senator Lane,
Aye.
Senator Majors,
Aye.
Senator Marty,
Aye.
Parliamentarian Purnell,
Aye.
Senator Reberg,
Aye.
Senator Reyes,
Aye.
Senator Schrocknagel,
Aye.
Senator Thompson,
Aye.
Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde,
Aye.
Senator Wheaton,
Pass.
Senator Warner,
Aye.
Speaker Patricus,
Pass.
Senator Wheaton,
Aye.
Speaker Patricus.
Aye.
In a vote of 16-0, the motion passes unanimously. We are back onto content changes. Are there any more content changes? Are there any more content changes? Going once, going twice, seeing none. We are on to clericalitis. Speaker Patricus.
Can we change, under submitters, to say it's a senator, let's say deputy speaker? Elizabeth Vanderhyde?
I'm looking for unanimous consent to change the title of Elizabeth Vanderhyde to Deputy Speaker. Any opposition? Seeing none,
Oh, I was gonna say I second.
it has been changed. Beautiful. Any further clerical edits? Going once, going twice, seeing none. Lovely, we are out of this motion for this week. And I am passing the gavel. Speaker.
What the bill? We should take our time with it. So if you have questions, I would encourage you to just ask them to the submitters. Otherwise, we have one more topic in new business, item D. Findings and recommendations of the Internal Evaluation Committee. I will yield to Chairwoman Vanderhyde and Vice Chairman Walker Reberg.
Hey everybody, so the Internal Evaluation Committee exists to review any internal WSG activities, including alleged violations of the standing rules and Constitution. That's stated in the standing rules, and understanding that purpose, the Senate approved the membership of the committee to hear the submissions when we first did approval committees. Prior to the hearing, the committee adopted procedures to guide the review process and ensure consistency in how submissions were considered, so that nobody was getting any different treatment. So on Friday, March 13th, 2026, the Internal Evaluation Committee convened to hear 2 submissions alleging violations of the WSG standing rules, specifically section 3.1A to the Ethics Code of Conduct. So for the first submission, the committee heard from the complainant and the subject of the report. The committee then entered a period of questioning followed by deliberation in closed session. Upon returning to open session, the committee found no violation and assigned no sanctions. The committee does not recommend any further action. For the second submission, the committee followed the exact same procedure, hearing from both the complainant and the subject, conducting questioning, and deliberating within closed session. Upon returning to open session, the committee determined that a malicious statement did occur that resulted in the degradation of WSG and a member. This is in violation of section 3.1A. The committee recommended a sanction requiring the individual to complete 2 hours of tabling on behalf of WSG to promote the organization as a campus entity. The logistics of this sanction shall be determined by the Speaker of the Senate. With that, I yield the questions on procedure.
IEC has a very unique role, one that you have entrusted it with. It has completed said role. With that, we are looking for questions on procedure. Senator Marty, do you have a question about the procedure?
I just wonder, how do I make sure that I communicate and I be an honest senator? Prevent that
Question about procedure, I don't find that too particularly relevant to the current discussion item.
Then, all right then. Okay, continue. I yield my time to the chair.
Are there any questions on the procedure? I'll use that hand because this is we don't see this too often. I'm not seeing any. Hearing any. With that, Madam Vice President, please call roll. A vote of aye is to adopt the recommendation of the Internal Evaluation Committee. A vote of nay is to not adopt.
Witness, please.
I have a point of clarification.
Of course.
So we're voting on to accept something that we have no information about. We just have to be like, okay. I mean, I'm just yeah.
Without going into closed session as a body, I don't believe there's more information that can be divulged.
I'm just curious.
It's the body.
Why is it that we confirm it if we don't have any information on it?
The body finds it necessary to go into closed session. That is not a topic we can look at today. That would require a motion to postpone. I would ask for 2 weeks because next week's Rock County, I don't want to go to closed session in Rock County. And at this point,
it's not
my role is to facilitate. I don't want to facilitate the closed session. Senator Marty?
Motion to postpone 2 weeks.
A motion has been made. Is there a second on that motion? Seconded by Senator Reyes. Madam Vice President, if you could call the roll on the motion to postpone consideration 2 weeks, so that we go to closed session. Vote of aye is to adopt the motion. Vote of nay is to not.
Let's keep in mind the passes.
Yeah.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. President-elect.
Was the motion to go to postpone to 2 weeks to go to closed session, or just to postpone for 2 weeks?
I will yield to the submitter of the motion.
It is postponed to 2 weeks to go to closed session, so we know what we are voting on.
Okay. That motion has been made by Senator Marty and seconded by Senator Reyes. To postpone 2 weeks so we can go into closed session.
You ready?
Madam Vice President?
Alright. Senator Coleman.
Aye.
Senator Giannetti.
Aye.
Senator Kulik.
Aye.
Senator Kiwu.
Aye.
Senator Lang.
Pass.
Senator Majors.
Nay.
Senator Marty.
Aye.
Parliamentarian Purnell.
Aye.
Senator Reaver.
Yay.
Senator Reyes.
Pass.
Senator Strafnagel.
Aye.
Senator Thompson.
Nay.
Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde.
Nay.
Senator Wheaton.
Nay.
Senator Warner.
Aye.
Speaker Patricus.
Nay.
Senator Lang.
Nay.
Senator Reyes.
Nay.
Ooh. We don't see this too often. Is it 8-8? In a vote of 8-8, the Senate has tied. In accordance with our Constitution. I can quote it. I'm going to quote it. 1 second.
You and I would not have gotten all three book senators at the same time.
I don't know where it's going. But since the Senate has tied, we will go to a roll call vote of Senate leadership. They break the tie. So, Madam Vice President, here we call just those three. Jordan, Elizabeth, and I.
Parliamentarian Purnell.
What was the question? Yes, you were to.
So the motion is to postpone to the closed session. What do I actually have that?
Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde.
Nay.
Speaker Patricus.
Nay. In a vote of 1 or 2 to 1, the motion fails. With that, we are still on the findings and recommendations of the internal evaluations committee. Cool. Seeing no further questions or motions.
Let's write tallies, remember, passes, please.
How was the sanctions?
So I would say that as a committee, we decided that a malicious statement was made that degraded WSG as an organization. And the best way that we thought to reconcile that is to have the person who was subject to that or who made that malicious statement to then kind of promote the organization by tabling. And that's, we thought of that as like they're bolstering the organization after they made a statement that degraded it.
Yeah, sort of. Is this a sanction that has been sort of utilized before? How is this specific sanction laid out?
I could answer that. I'll take that one. Prior to last year, the Internal Evaluations Committee had not met for at least half a decade. So possibly, but also we would have no record of if it had been or what the Internal Evaluations Committee did. So I don't know is the answer. Senator Weidman?
As someone who helped create the policy, I think there was a few examples in the policy, and I believe that was one of them as an active community service that we had written on there. And I think that kind of helped imagine choices that were made, but as for the policy that was made, that was an example, something that Speaker Patricus and I talked about a lot when creating the policy is what are guidelines that we can give to the committee so they can make an ethical decision that best represents the organization.
Are there any other questions, seeing any, or even motions, so or any like actions to go to a fire. So with that, Madam Vice President, if you would call the roll on adopting the findings of the internal evaluations committee. Vote of aye is to adopt this findings and recommendations. Vote of nay is to not.
All right. Senator Coleman.
Aye.
Senator Giannetti.
Nay.
Senator Bueller.
Aye.
Senator Kiwa.
Yeah, aye.
Senator Kiwa.
Pause.
Senator Lang.
Aye.
Senator Majors.
Aye.
Senator Marty.
Aye.
Parliamentarian Purnell.
Nay.
Senator Reberg.
Aye.
Senator Reyes.
Nay.
Senator Stroffnagel.
Aye.
Senator Thompson.
Aye.
Deputy Speaker Vanderhyde.
Aye.
Senator Wheaton.
Aye.
Senator Warner.
Nay.
Speaker Patricus.
Pass.
Senator Kiwo.
Aye.
Speaker Patricus.
And abstain. With that, a vote of 10 or 11?
11 to 4 to 1.
11 for 1 abstention. I probably should have voted. The findings and recommendations of the Internal Evaluations Committee have been adopted by the Senate. Alrighty, with that, we have announcements. Are there any announcements? Vice President, sorry. Vice President.
Really quick, make sure you do the RSVP and the commitment to serve scholarship. I yield. Some more announcements.
Advisor Clarkson?
Couple quick announcements. Number one, what time is cleanup for elections tomorrow? 7:45 p.m. in the Hamilton room. Please join us. We have a Canva crash course for designing using the free Canva app on Wednesday at 3:30 in the Warhawk Connection Center. Don't forget the drag show is Thursday night at 7 p.m. in the Hamilton room. Greek week is next week. And while most of the events are for our Greek students, Thursday night is a magician. And that event is open to all, as is the talent show on Wednesday night over at Young Auditorium. And with that, I yield.
Alrighty, Director Gross?
2 things for the academic affairs, please talk to me before you leave. And then the second thing, if you are a Kobe major or part of a Kobe student board, please also come to talk to me.
I'm sorry, I need your hold harmlesses before you leave tonight, so that I have them, please. If you're not ready to sign them because you want to read them, that's fine, but we do need them prior to you leaving on Monday to head to Rock.
Dr. Linneman?
Any senators that are graduating this semester and would like a post-creative letter, please send me a WebEx. That's all.
Also, if you're graduating this semester and want a soul, you should reach out to Dr. Clarkson.
If you are a senior but graduating this semester, please come talk to Vice President Reiser and myself. We're going to do kind of a spotlight of sorts and post it on our social media. So please come up and chat with us, as well as if you need a stole. Or if you have been a Senate officer or an E-board member, you will get a cord as well. Come chat with us.
Chairman Smith.
There's an election tomorrow, I don't know if you've heard. My name is on the ballot, if you'd like to vote for me. Even if you don't vote for me, please go vote tomorrow.
President Lance Wilson.
If you have interest in the chief of staff position, want to know more, want to apply, the application will be out tonight, and I'm right here, right now.
From the gallery, Dave Plummer.
Student Veteran Alliance meets on 2 o'clock on Wednesday at the Veterans Lounge. Feel free to come out. Also, second one, Beekeepers Club is currently selling a bunch of honey. Support your local veteran because the president's actually a veteran as well.
Senator Rubin.
PSC is selling pizzas. If you'd like a frozen pizza, come let me know.
Alright, the last announcement, immediately following the meeting, if you are driving a car, or you have a car, which to drive to the Rock County meeting, if you could go to that corner, and then if you do not have a car, and need to coordinate a ride, you should find someone who has a car and coordinate it yourself. I don't want to go yourself. With that, if you have any questions about anything we talked about tonight, I would encourage you to talk to me. With that, looking for a motion to adjourn. Senator Rager.
Motion to adjourn.
Looking for a second. Senator Thompson. I'm going to voice vote.
Acclamation.
Can I go have your phone number so
I got mine. More than any other. Their parents, like, the way they. That's gonna keep our. At least. But anyway.
Well, actually,